Welcome to Sports, Clicks, and Politics with your hosts, Ben Hussong and me, Shawn Hannon. Welcome to another eventful edition, special episode of Sports, Clicks, and Politics. Yes, the shirt has made a debut here at Sports, Clicks, and Politics. This is a special event shirt that I usually bring out for events like this, Mr. Hussong. So congratulations for being part in that.
It's truly something to behold.
This is like a 7X or some shit I bought.
I mean, that's a big shirt. First,
I bought it in Vegas.
The fact that you spent money on that is concerning. I have serious questions about your judgment when it comes to finances. I was hoping that was a gift.
No. I guess it was free shirt, if you will. Does that count?
It was the house's money, so to speak.
I mean, here, I'll give you guys a...
Give them the full look, because this is worth checking out, guys.
I mean, colorful, festive.
Horrific. I mean, it looks wonderful.
I mean, appropriate. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us and taking your time out of your busy election night. We're obviously already got election, some results rolling in here, and I'm going to keep that map up behind us as they start calling states and kind of keep us updated as they start calling states and kind of keep us updated as they report them. Mr. Hussong, thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you for the frosty beverages.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Everybody at home, too.
Do you expect this to be a long night?
No.
No?
I mean,
it could be a long night.
No, I mean, I got to go home. I got to work tomorrow. Listen, do I think that we'll necessarily have a winner pick tonight? No, I actually don't. I think that there's too many other things going on. I think based on some of the things that seemed wrong to me and you, and we discussed this early on, are now starting to pan out that maybe at least some of these early polls were in fact incorrect. Specifically, I'm looking, I don't want to say that it's a given yet, but Trump is now looking more likely than not to win North Carolina, looking more likely than not to win Georgia, looking more likely than not.
I think they might have called Georgia. Oh, no.
Not yet.
I don't know how to read that all yet. Oh, they got the lead in Georgia.
They got the lead.
So we can do this, too, here, if you want to.
You want to zoom in?
I don't have to zoom in, but I can kind of pull up the state if you'd like.
Sure.
So like we're talking about North Carolina.
So the New York Times Needle, as of a few minutes ago, had Donald Trump about a 69% favorite to win North Carolina. So 70% of the expected vote is in. The expected vote.
It's like I said, we're going to get these numbers. I mean, I think the 9 o'clock states are going to obviously kind of dictate what's going on here, right? So,
right.
We'll see that the as these, certain, we don't know which geographical areas have reported yet. Maybe other people are more in the know of that. But like I said, I feel like this early on, this 9 o'clock states is kind of going to set the tone for the rest of the night here. So,
yeah, I think it's a hard one to say. Ohio was looking, I guess we knew that was going to be competitive, but that's looking more and more likely that Biden is going to take Ohio, not looking like he's going to win Florida. I never really thought Georgia could actually be in play.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Where I see they have lead Texas here in Biden, so that's always – I can't see that happening either. But
I can't see it happening mostly because of the behavior of the candidates. If Joe Biden thought he had a chance at Texas, he would have been campaigning there every day for the last week, and it would have had both. Because I mean, it's 38 electoral votes. It's too big of a state. If you win that, you can forget Wisconsin and Michigan. If you get Texas, it's all over.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe they're running a different campaign.
Yeah, I don't. Again, I'm definitely not in Texas, but I don't see that at all. So we are, most of the election results are going to come in here about 9 p.m. So we have a presidential race. We have House races here across New York here. And obviously people are paying attention to the Senate race across the country. Maybe not so much so here in New York. I think most of that is probably mostly decided. We do have a couple local races, congressional races here that are in the toss-up category. The
Sure.
Katko-Balter and the Tenney-Brindisi race are both technically toss-ups. It'll be interesting to see if Tenney can get her seat back. She's a big.
She
she's
hitched
in
her
the Trump.
wagon to
She
Trump.
is in the Trump train for sure. So we'll see if that additional a push from him upstate here can make a difference for her. And then, I people feel like it's a toss-up. I don't know. I'd be pretty surprised if Katko lost to Dana Balter.
There's polls that had her winning.
Pretty surprised if Katko lost to Dana Balter.
There's polls that had her winning.
I think it's his to lose, though. I don't know. I mean, I guess I know that there's a large chunk of the city that votes in there, but I mean, outside of the city, it's pretty hard for Dana Balter to pull votes. So she's going to really, really have to dominate in Syracuse.
Yeah, and I think that you're going to have to see some. Here's the one side. Normally, if you follow politics for a long time, if you've been paying attention, typically speaking, stereotypically, historically, whatever word you want to use here, high voter turnout favors Democrats. Usually, if you see a low turnout, in the basic, I don't know, the reasoning behind that, if you will, is that Republicans tend to vote. That's just what the data tells us. A Republican is more likely to vote.
They show up more
than a Democrat, right? So when you have high turnout, it's not Republicans coming out in greater numbers because their numbers don't change much. It's normally that I don't know if it's the majority or a larger portion of Democrats don't normally vote. So usually they're what drives the turnout. This election might be the exception, though, where the higher turnout, I'm not sure who it favors, and I think it actually depends on the state, on the region, on the county, who the higher turnout favors.
Yeah, and like I said, we have a total wild card there with the whole nature of COVID voting. We have this unprecedented amount of early voting, absentee voting. So there is a lot of voting, which is the more votes, the better. I think that the more participation, the better. I don't know how that, and you talk about historically and how those wild cards change this year. I think that's what we're here for, right? To kind of see how this all plays out. We're going to kind of ride it out together, and with the hopes of you folks. I don't know if did you guys bring beverages? Mr. Hussong brought me beverages.
I'm a good person like that.
Frosty beverages.
Now,
kind of beverages.
I don't want to hear any more complaining about how I don't do anything with the IT setup. We're even. The voter turnout, I think, is going to be an interesting angle on the election this year, and I'm curious to see how it shakes out. And I don't think it's going to be as simple and straightforward as historically it has been. I think this is going to be the year, whether you like him or hate him. We've never seen a candidate like Donald Trump in the last. Listen, I've only been watching for probably about 20 years. I've never seen a candidate that can get 20,000 people to come out and watch him talk. Not on a regular basis, not everywhere he goes for a campaign rally. I've never seen somebody generate this type of a response. And to be perfectly blunt, I don't understand. Like, if he came to the Carrier Dome and was like, hey, we're holding a rally, it'd be like
I said,
no.
I remember I mentioned this to you a couple of days ago. It's like, I remember back in the exciting days of the early Ron Paul Revolution days of 2007, 2008. And then again in 2011, 2012 when he ran for president. And, we had that kind of energy, I feel like. But even then, I mean, obviously he wasn't the president, so he was running. These are primary rallies.
Right.
But we were getting, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people sometimes, which were bigger than anybody else's rallies at the time. But to look at that Butler, Pennsylvania rally and see what they said, 56,000 people there or something, that's like mind-boggling. It's kind of like Beatles, right? I mean, it's like they're going to see something bigger than an election. I don't know how to measure that. I don't know if that means anything, or how we even go about measuring that, other than there has to be clearly some excitement through his base. I remember we were talking a little bit about this. Remember that poll which or somebody sent me an article showing that Trump was going to win. But part of their questioning was interesting in the way they did their polling, because they asked, not are you going to vote for president, but do you have any friends who are going to vote for the president, right? And overwhelmingly, it was like 79% were saying yes, right? Whereas like, do you have friends voting for Biden? It was like 38%. So it was a way of measuring the silent majority, if you will, because you were getting kind of like a an intangible way of measuring who other people think they're voting for. And if obviously people say they're voting for Trump, but they don't tell anybody, publicly, which I feel like there's a lot of people who think that's a real thing, and I do as well. It was a kind of a way to kind of see, or at least pull that away, tease that out a little bit. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see. Like I said, the 9 o'clock states are kind of going to be pivotal here. I mean, if Florida goes the way we think Florida was going to go, with Trump winning, really we're eyes are on Pennsylvania now. Fill me, Ben.
I like that New York is white.
I forgot how dumb I am. Where's the 9 p.m. Where's the Central start? Illinois?
Memphis, Tennessee over here is in the Central time zone, but Nashville over here is in the Eastern. So I want to say it goes somewhere right up about the line between Indiana and Ohio.
So
right down there. I'm pretty sure that's
Michigan
where the line
is 9 p.m.
Maybe?
Are they? All right, we'll figure that out. I could pull it up there, but I don't want to.
That's fair.
Do you have any hot takes on any of the local races here, like the statewide races? So we talked about, we got a couple local ones here with Sam Rogers versus Rachel May. We have trying to fill Bob Antonacci's seat. We have John Mannion and Angie Renna.
Yep. So as far as local races, not really. I think that I actually haven't seen any polling data on the local races at this point. I don't have a good feel for it. I do think for the House race, it's the same thing of maybe it's just a distrust of polling at this point, but I can't see if Dana Balter wins, I think it's going to be by less than 0.5%. Like I don't think she's got a commanding lead over John Katko. John Katko is pretty well regarded in the area. I speak to a lot of different people, and most people engage with me out of the blue, which is always fun. That they're going to vote for Biden and Katko. I've heard a lot more of that than I normally would have expected to, and it wasn't anything more than they don't love Dana Balter. Like I got that impression from a lot of people. Now, obviously, I have a biased worldview, and the people that I talk to are different than everybody else. But it's not a huge area, and I have a fairly well diverse group of people that I stay in contact with and speak to about this. If she wins, I don't think it's going to be by much. Like I saw the poll that said she was up 3 or 4, and I kind of laughed, like, no shot.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she has to really, for Balter to win, she has to just dominate Syracuse. I don't know. I think Katko has, even though they try to, hitch his wagon to Trump, I think he's separated himself enough there that I don't think most people think that that's the case.
I also think there's some concern that Dana Balter would just be a yes vote for Nancy Pelosi at all.
For sure.
Is not highly regarded in this
I don't
area.
think so. I don't think that would be right. The back to the state Senate races.
Yeah.
So the Antonacci seat is probably the most interesting, only because we were supposed to have a special election, and then they canceled it
because of COVID.
So we're going to do this again here with John Mannion and Angie Renna. This has been a historically Republican seat, but I feel like Mannion has a significant name recognition advantage.
For sure.
Just for running the close race and the amount of money that was put into that race last time. And I think there's been a lot of money put into the race this time, especially from outside sources on top of the local sources. But that seems to be the one that I kind of want to look at the most. I'm unsure about the most, I guess. That's what I want to kind of because the seat has been so historically Republican, but I feel like Mannion has the name advantage. I'm not sure where that one falls.
So Mannion didn't lose to Bob Antonacci by much last year.
No.
I mean, that was a close race, and John Mannion lost by, I think it was 2%.
Close.
If that. It was 1.5%, 2%. And the Republicans ran, they put a fair amount of money into that race. They did some fundraising. They made that a point of emphasis in a big way to try to keep that seat.
Breaking news, Ben.
Hit me.
New York was called for Joe Biden.
Is it 9:01 already?
9:01 already.
Shock. Well, let's just wait and see what happens with California.
We have no official. He won with 0%, but it's already been called for Joe Biden. So congratulations, Joe Biden, on winning New York.
9:01. Thank you. No, there was no shot from the get-go. Anyways, so the receipt has been held, it was held by John DeFrancisco for years upon years, a long-term. Say again?
Decades, I feel like.
Decades. I think that is accurate, actually. Long-term state senator, a Republican in the district. When he decided to retire, Bob Antonacci ran on the Republican line, got endorsed by John DeFrancisco, of course, and then Mr. Antonacci won the race. The Honorable Antonacci won the race by about 2%, and it was a hard-fought battle that they managed to pull out, and we all remember the my son commercials, which was very effective, actually.
Oh, no, very effective.
Absolutely. And then Mr. Antonacci was last year won a judgeship, so he is now serving on the bench, and that left the seat open. So now the John Mannion naturally stepped in to run again, and Angie Renna is the candidate for the Republican Party.
And she did get the endorsement of the Syracuse.com, yeah?
She did. She did win from the editor of Syracuse.com. She also was obviously endorsed by Ryan McMahon, which was no surprise. And even less surprising was John Mannion got the endorsement from Mayor Ben Walsh. So, from independent Mayor Ben Walsh.
So a lot of I feel like interest in the result of that race anyway.
Oh, for sure. And I think all of us, whether this is something you and I tend to agree on, that most people in our country don't view it this way. Your state and local elections matter so much more to your day-to-day life than the national politics.
I mean, I wish they mattered even more.
I do too.
I mean, I wish we could disconnect from the state and then, disconnect from the federal government where we could, but that's a different conversation.
So maybe if we had set it up so the federal government only had 6 listed powers and then everything else went to the state?
I mean.
Like that? Is that what you're thinking?
I mean.
If you didn't get that joke, you really need to open a civics book at some point. So anyways, or just, read the Constitution. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The state and local elections matter a lot more, especially in this state where you and I have been very vocal in our criticism about the response to COVID-19. And this has become, I don't have a better way of saying this. Like, I have fallen into a rabbit hole where I can't read enough, I can't learn enough, I can't study enough about COVID and try to understand what we've done and what we're doing. And the legislature basically handed over all power to Andrew Cuomo for a year and said, it's an emergency, you're in charge. It hasn't gone well. Is that?
From my perspective, you're correct.
Okay, so we have GDP that's like leading the nation in how bad it is and how far negative it's gone. The unemployment is higher than almost anywhere else in the country. The economic or the tax revenue drop is going to be unheard of, and the migration of people out of the state, particularly the wealthy people that typically paid the most in property taxes, income taxes, sales taxes, etc., also mind-boggling to think about. And all we keep doing is doubling down on these provisions and these rules, and not acknowledging nor providing any information whatsoever on how many people actually died in nursing homes, because that would be acknowledging that he aired.
How much do you think of all that stuff actually is going to impact the elections here?
0.
So you don't think there'll be any kind of pushback on Cuomo as a Democrat, and he's got the. I mean, I don't know. Have his actions resonated enough within his own party? Right. I guess that's the bigger question, because you already know the Republicans are going to vote anti-Cuomo or whatever. They're going to be voting for Republicans regardless. But has the mismanagement, and that's what I'm going to call it, has that resonated with his own party? And is that going to keep people voting for non-Democrats, or it's just going to keep them home? Like, will that disenfranchise some of his own party? Obviously, it's a presidential election, right, so it's going to be difficult to squash that too much. But here in New York, is there any backlash to the dictatorial reign of Andrew Cuomo?
So I think to what I was talking about specifically, no. About the abdication of legislative powers, no, because nobody cares about that whatsoever.
I mean, just quickly, and I'll let you go. There have been some Democrat downstate senators specifically who have pushed back on the governor. So I'm wondering, will that matter in their races, and will that matter in some of these other races that maybe some of these people who have fallen in line? I feel like maybe Rachel May is one of those candidates who have kind of fallen in line with Cuomo and the rulings. And will those rulings come back to haunt or hurt these candidates in close races? And like I said, Rachel May is one that's local, and I feel like may have been, because she was on the aging committee, I believe, maybe even the chair of the aging committee, it seems like she would have had or should have had intimate knowledge of the way the nursing home situation was being handled. And since we seem to be in agreement that it was handled poorly on all sides, I haven't heard say anything about it. one way or the other. So it makes me think that she kind of fell in line, and I'm wondering if she's one of the casualties that could have been hurt from Cuomo's reign.
So I don't think it's our opinion that it was handled poorly. It's pretty obvious that it was handled poorly, and if you or anybody else tells me that we ranked 35th out of 50 in nursing home deaths, I'm going to scream.
46 for a while. I don't know if you think you changed it again. I just wanted somebody to ask him your question. Like, if you're 46th, that makes you 4th in non-nursing home deaths. So
what happened?
What'd you get so wrong there?
Right. Instead, and we've covered this ad nauseum, we miscount nursing home deaths compared to every other state. The only state that actually does arguably a better job of covering up their nursing home deaths is Michigan, who only counts them from publicly run nursing homes instead of all nursing homes. So they've only accounted for roughly 10% of their total deaths.
Technicalities.
Hey, what was the similarity between New York and Michigan again in COVID response?
What do you mean?
Oh, that's right. It was the executive order from the governor of each state that said nursing homes had to accept COVID patients. Weird how that worked out. Now we know that nursing homes accounted for over 45% of all deaths related to COVID, even though they account for less than 1% of the overall population. Almost like that was a terrible idea. Could have been excused early on. When you keep it in force for over 6 weeks, becomes harder to defend. When you cover it up in referral requests or refuse to respond to a lawsuit with the data, now you're just covering things up. But that's neither here nor there. Back to your question. Do I think it matters? No, because I don't think people are aware of that side. Do I think the executive orders will come into play in Cuomo's management overall? Yes, because I do think most people, if you get off of social media and get out in the real world, most people are done with the lockdowns. They've had enough. They'll wear a mask. They'll do whatever. Just stop locking things down and stop shutting down businesses, because it's starting to become almost indefensible as a means of protection, because the costs of the lockdown are so high and people are starting to feel that through and through. So I think that will come into play. As far as the specifics of the nursing home policy or Andrew Cuomo, no, I expect Andrew Cuomo to continue locking down, telling you how many people can be at your house, telling you what time your business has to open or close, and sending out the state liquor authority to intimidate and suspend licenses. That, I think, will come into play. I just don't know how much.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I don't know how to measure it. But yeah, it seems as though it could have been, and I know I did see some stuff from Rachel May's opponent, Sam Rogers, about drawing attention to this. So I don't think it was not used. I mean, it was directly drawn attention to, but I just don't know if her supporters or how many supporters are actually going to connect the two, I guess.
Sure.
But we have some other congressional races. Like, I know we're not really in the North Country, but the Stefanik Cobb race is kind of interesting. A lot of national attention there. A lot of national money went up there.
Yes, it sure did.
So we'll keep an eye on all these. Let's see if I don't think anybody in New York has. I haven't seen any updates from anything local yet here.
Not yet.
Let's find out. Let's go up to the New York here. Snowy New York. Nope,
it's not snowing anymore.
Not New Mexico. It says Joe Biden won New Mexico. We already knew that. I did think that was a chance there where the Latino vote could have come out and surprised in New Mexico. Let's get to New York.
I do think that if the early data is to be believed, the Latino vote in Florida is what is putting it over towards Trump. It's what the polls really missed in Florida.
And that was some of the stuff that I had thought that maybe we're going to play a role in Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. It didn't apparently in New Mexico, but here we'll see.
Yeah.
Here's some early results from New York here.
How many people live in New York State?
I don't know. I used to know.
I don't know.
How many people live or how many voters?
How many voters?
I don't know. I feel like there was something like, I want to say like something like a number like 5.7 million is coming into my head for the governor race. Is that possible?
I mean, right now, according to CNY Central, Donald Trump has received 15.9 million votes. And I'm sorry, Joe Biden has received 15.9, and Donald Trump has received 16.49, so 16.5.
In the country?
This is supposed to be just New York.
I mean, because I have New York right here, 392,000 to 150,000.
Okay, this must be national because I was super confused. I was like, who got the number this wrong in New York State?
Let's see if we have any updates on some of these congressional races here. This is Politico.com up here, guys. Nothing. So those are the kind of the races, the congressional races here. The Cobb-Stefanik race, Brindisi-Tenney, Balter-Kako. Those are kind of the ones that I want to pay attention to most. Again, looking at New York's vote totals here for president. Again, they've already called Joe Biden the winner. Not shocking.
Can't blame them.
Yeah, so here's my vote total here. I got 392,000 to 150,000. Again, it's still early, and who knows what. Oh, maybe this is these are the places reporting here.
Yep.
So we got Jefferson County, then New York City.
That's enough to call him the winner.
Yeah.
In reality, it is.
What's this over here? Little Staten Island? Oh, Richmond County? Never heard of it.
I did, because when I was looking up death by population, early on in COVID, I assumed the population density played a big role in all of this, and so I know where all those counties are now because I was looking them up based on population. I know. Turns out, by the way, population density, not a big factor. Doesn't really pan out, so that was like a couple hours wasted.
Some things that I see that are somewhat interesting. Obviously, we talked about Texas and North Carolina here, and we all know about Pennsylvania. We think Ohio may be going left. I see Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. All the Rust Belt states up top here have now flipped red leading.
Yep.
Those were the states that he needed to win if Pennsylvania wasn't going to matter. Obviously, Texas is if Texas flips, then
the race is over and we can all go home if Texas wins.
Just slam the beers.
Yeah, let's just call it a day. We can save ourselves a lot of time.
But still filling in here, still early.
I think we could probably safely shade California blue.
I guess.
Illinois is already blue, so that's good. I do like that New York was called at 9:01.
Yeah, well, that's not. It happens legitimately every single election in New York.
Right. Why bother counting the votes? You already know how it went to happen. And please understand, as I say this, I am not opposed to the Electoral College. It absolutely is a great idea, and it makes sure that the whole country isn't run by the people of 4 cities. I just also accept the reality of that rule, which is that if you live in the great state of New York, and you vote for anybody but the Democrat, it doesn't matter. If you vote for the Democrat, it doesn't matter. It's going to go blue anyway.
Yeah. Like I said, if you just want to be on the winning team, then it matters, I guess. But
that's true. That and baseball, buddy.
Yeah.
Go Yankees. Not too sure. Based on now listen, you've been predicting all the way along. Big victory by Trump. How are you feeling about that prediction now?
Well, like I said, now that I see that those northern Rust Belt states go, I needed those to happen for me. North Carolina obviously is really the one. With Virginia, I had thought that was my last one. I was like, okay, it's either going to be like a 320, 329 electoral college or something even much bigger if Virginia went. So I don't see Virginia. Obviously, they have called that for Biden here already. And a real landslide would have required New Mexico too. So now I'm interested just to see the North Carolina. Obviously, we're still interested in Pennsylvania and Texas.
Can you click on Virginia and see how much of the vote is in?
I can do that.
Thank you.
Here we are. So Trump is still up 58.2% to 40%, still 1.1 million to 768,000, 40% of the expected vote in. They've called it for Biden.
I didn't realize, I guess maybe I'm wrong. I don't know Virginia politics as well as I know New York. I didn't realize it was that blue.
I don't think it was that blue. Like I said, these numbers are a little confusing to me. Let's do the same thing down in Texas and see what Texas says. All right, so this is just basically even. 4 million votes, just over 4 million votes for Biden, just under 4 million votes for Trump here in Texas. Again, it's hard for us to know which regions have already reported. Maybe there is some more detailed reporting in other places.
So I'm going to go ahead and predict that Texas is going to go red because based on this, I've got a map here that says they've got numbers, not saying all the numbers, but they've got at least some reporting from the counties that contain Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, and Fort Worth. That's most of your major cities. And for those of you who are new at this, typically in every state, you can track the counties where the major cities go blue, the other areas go red, and there's a handful of suburbs outside cities that can go either direction. It depends on how well they were drawn up by the party in power that designed these districts.
They were very ethical, I'm sure, when they did all that. Drawing up those districts, that is.
So my favorite argument is about gerrymandering. Like, any party doesn't engage in it.
Oh, no.
Some are just better at it than others. That's all.
That's why I say. That's why we talk about the Catco-Balter race. Like, there can't be any more different worlds than Syracuse and Wayne County. Like, they're just not the same thing. And somehow they're in the same district. So, like,
come on.
So I don't know how we got there, but we did. So
that's fair.
I'm going to plug up the New York Board of Elections website here and see if I can get some updated information from their site.
See, New Mexico's another one I'm having trouble with. There's like nothing that's turned in yet, and they've claimed that it's blue. We're learning as we go here, guys.
Yeah. Like I said, we're going to try to work our way through this. I'm trying to get you as much updated information. If somebody has information that they would like us to try to share here online, just forward that to us, and I'll make sure to try to do that. So, here, election results. Let's see if we got any local election results that I can report to you guys.
And to the shock of nobody, Arkansas has gone to Donald Trump. Louisiana has gone to Donald Trump. Mississippi.
On a personal note, I'm tracking the third-party vote totals in the New York election because we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about this on the show.
We didn't talk about this, actually. You should talk about this.
So, New York, again, your governor changed the...
Why does it got to be my governor?
He's your governor.
Oh, he's your governor, too. The proper English there is our governor.
So, your governor changed election law and made it much more difficult for minor parties to maintain ballot access in New York State. So it used to be every 4-year process where you would have to get 50,000 votes through your governor candidate, and that would qualify you for ballot access in New York State. So you would get primary access, and you wouldn't have to petition like you'd normally do as an independent nominating body. So, for example, the Libertarian Party, we gained our first-time ballot access in New York in 2018 through our governor candidate, Larry Sharp. And 2 years later, the governor changed the rules, and now we have to do it again this year by getting, I believe, 140,000 votes or 2% of the total through the presidential race, and that goes for all parties. So it's very likely, and just looking at these numbers real quickly up here on the top, the Green Party, Libertarian, the Independence Party are most likely going to go away. We'll see what happens with the Working Families Party. There was a very conscious effort to get a lot of people to vote Working Families Party for Biden on the Working Families Party line. AOC came out with that. I think maybe some of the senators came out there. But anyway, there was a concerted effort to try to make sure that they were going to try to save their ballot line. Right. And with 120,000 early votes, it looks like they may have done that. We'll see. I mean, they still have to get, they're it's a good showing early, but the rest of the parties doesn't look like. I do think the Conservative Party holds on, just because I think they'll get enough Trump votes this year to get that threshold, and they usually have more than enough to qualify. So I think they'll make it. I don't know that anybody else does, which is kind of sad for more voices in the political sphere if there's less parties anyway. So I'll be paying attention to that. We'll see. Do you know who Brock Pierce is?
Brock Pierce.
Yeah.
No.
Did you ever watch The Mighty Ducks?
Sure.
Yeah, he's a childhood actor.
Who did he play?
I don't know. Just Mighty Duck.
Why are you going to get my hopes
Mighty
up
Duck
like
number
this?
Some guy.
Stop. Is he Charlie Conway? Because if so, I want to change my vote.
I don't know. Brock Pierce, right here. You'd have to look up his character name. I'm not sure, but he was in the Mighty Ducks.
We're looking that up.
Yeah. So, but he's the Independence Party.
Pause the election. We've got real things to. You're going to bring up the Mighty Ducks and just walk it off like that.
So let's go back to the presidential race here and check.
This is your guy. He's a cryptocurrency guy.
Oh, yeah. No, I knew that, too, actually. Oh, Minnesota has flipped back Democrat, so they're flipping back and forth a little bit.
Oh, jeez. Is it dark blue or is it? No, it's okay.
Oh, yeah. No, nothing called yet. Let's look at the vote totals in Minnesota, because that's kind of a state. It's only 10 electors, but it's only got 2% of the vote in here.
Time out. Sorry.
Did he score the winning goal or something?
Mighty Ducks, the original, only has a 6.5 out of 10 score on IMDb. I don't believe polls anymore. This is over. Ruined me. 46% on Metacritic. Screw you.
What do they know?
These idiots.
But anyway, so yeah, I don't know anything about the Mighty Ducks other than what I just,
What's the guy's name?
Brock Pierce.
Thank you. Following the independent party really closely over here in case you couldn't tell. Okay, it wasn't a big role based on this.
Okay, yeah. I'm not much of a movie guy, so I just know that he was a childhood actor.
He played Gordon Bombay, which was Emilio Estevez's character. He must have played the childhood version of Coach Gordon Bombay.
Exciting.
I don't think he's going
to get the required votes to maintain and save the Independence Party either. So
I'm so upset right now that I wasted time looking up who played. Kid had like 30 seconds of screen time in one line.
We got plenty of time.
Although it was a touching scene in that moment when he triple deked and then shot the puck and he hit the crossbar and they lost and his coach blamed him.
Should have shot lower, I guess.
I mean, a quarter inch the other way and he misses the goal completely. All you people that watch Mighty Ducks understood that reference. He didn't.
Nope.
Went right over his head.
Yep. Right under the crossbar.
What the hell are we talking about?
We're just waiting for some good results here to come in.
All right.
Here's some NYS Central. Let's look up and see what they got going on here. I thought these were real pictures for a second, but they're cartoon like drawings. That scared me for a second.
It's sad that it's that difficult to tell.
Here they don't have Pennsylvania called.
What's that?
See, they don't have North Carolina or Pennsylvania called here.
Yeah,
this is CNY Central, so I'm not sure what their criteria they're using here to check all this. Let's see if we got some local election results from New York again. Let's check these state Senate races. What do you think about that? What do you think? What's it, the 53rd? So we got some early results here in the Rachel May Sam Rogers race here. Do I have a percent reporting? Districts 2 out of 53, so clearly very, very early.
Sure.
17,853 votes for Rachel May, the incumbent, and 8,755 votes for Sam Rogers, the competitor. That's a 64.5 to a 31.5% difference, and again, only 2 out of 253 precincts reporting there. So still very, very, very early, and again, we don't know which precincts have the one reporting. Let's check on the Renna Mannion race and see if we have some numbers we can digest here a little bit. Similar in percentage. It says 0 reporting out of 258, so who knows?
Sure.
But I got a 62 or almost just about 63 to a 35% here. 23,800 votes for John Mannion and 13,300 votes for Angie Renna.
786 people left that one blank. So you went to vote. And then we're like,
they might have wrote something in.
Oh, that could be.
I mean,
wouldn't that be list? No, write it as its own candidate, and void as its own candidate. So it's not even like they screwed up. They legitimately just didn't put anything down.
Void means they probably voted for both.
Awesome. Also a bold strategy.
Yeah, that is crazy that almost 1,000 people didn't vote for that.
Like you're at the poll.
2%. I mean, listen, you're talking to a guy who used to go into polls and just write my name and across the bottom and then just hand it in without voting for a single candidate on the poll. I've done that multiple times.
Everybody watch out. We got a badass over here. All right.
But I still went and voted. And I was just like, about any of these people. I'm just going to write my name across the bottom and be done with this.
Why did you go vote?
I don't know.
What was the point of voting to write your own name on a sheet of paper and then go back in?
Let's check some of these assembly
like
races.
James Dean over here, just a rebel without a cause.
Yeah. something like that.
It's not just me, right? Like, that's nuts. We can all get on the same page here.
I don't think so.
Of course you don't think so. You did it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's wonderful. God love you.
So Magnarelli and Ed Weber, and again, early voting, 0 out of 121 election districts. But we have 9,700 votes for the incumbent Bill Magnarelli and 2,700 for Ed Weber, the challenger. What's the 127th maybe is the other one here. Is that Hunter and Jackson?
I don't know.
I should know.
This is your job. In case you haven't figured out how this works yet, basically every job is his job. I just show up.
This is another local one I forgot about a little bit. Al Sturpey and Mark Vanesky. We have the incumbent Al Sturpey. He's at 63%. Mark Vanesky's at 34%. And so I missed the 128th. Is that the one that I'm... Pam Hunter and Stephanie Jackson. So here we go. We got, again, 0 out of 122 districts reporting, but 10,800 votes for Pam Hunter and 3,800 votes for Stephanie Jackson. She's a Libertarian endorsed candidate. Did you know that, Stephanie Jackson?
I didn't.
Now you do.
Learning new stuff every day. By the way, next time I vote, I'm writing my name across the bottom of the screen now, or the sheet of paper just for you. Actually, I might write your name across the bottom of the sheet of paper.
Well, I mean, I got 7 votes for mayor.
Did you?
Yeah. A bunch of people just texted me their votes, texted me my name been written in for mayor. I was like, oh, that's fun.
And you didn't win.
No, I was like 3rd.
All
right, so who else got more than 7 write-in votes? Seriously.
That's fair.
So here's the congressional race here locally, Dana Balter and John Katko. Again, we have 0 out of 681 precincts reporting, so that leads to 37,700 votes for Dana Balter and 25,000 votes for John Katko. Again, very early.
So I'm going to assume based on these results that we're getting predominantly Democrat districts that have reported.
We're probably getting mostly the city districts. Yeah.
Right.
Because I feel like there's some travel involved. Like I feel like the Wayne County people have to drive their ballots to someplace in civilization.
Board of Elections?
Yes.
So
there's a consolidation of the ballots. So there is some reporting that just takes, hey, we got to bring these in from the polling sites to where they're at. So this race has that weird anomaly where Steve Williams kept the working families line, and he still has not a small number of percentage, which most likely would have went to Dana Balter. So we'll see if that plays a role at all.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the presidential race, since that's what we're all here for. See if we're going to burn down the country tonight.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I'm not going to burn down the country.
Actually, I don't really want
Texas flipped red.
Shocking. Everybody stop what you're doing and pay attention. Texas might go red.
Yep, just flipped again. 64% of the vote is in. We have 4.1 million for each. Trump's leading by about 20,000 votes, it looks like.
And I think you're going to see that number spread.
I'm sure you will.
Because I think that now that all these other districts are reporting their numbers that are not large cities, you would expect that those numbers will be. That's just the way the patterns hold, unless there's some big exception to what's happening right now, which I guess is always possible.
Pennsylvania keeps getting closer because obviously there was a huge early turnout vote there in Pennsylvania. I feel like he started with something like a 200,000 vote lead or something. I feel like I thought it first came on, Pennsylvania had he had 285,000 votes and Trump had 17,000. So it was like some crazy,
Pittsburgh?
No, maybe Philly.
No,
but anyway, it's closed dramatically now. So we're at 545,000 versus 388,000 in Pennsylvania. There's only 14% of the vote in. If Pennsylvania if the early reporting states are Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, then it's going to close hard for Trump because the rest of the state is just Trump country. So,
so we've got a new level of decorum in the United States House of Representatives.
On purpose?
Oh, God. Madison Cawthorn, at 25, wins his seat and is the youngest member of Congress. He's a GOP
North Carolina,
congressman.
right?
And North Carolina. We tweeted out 9 minutes ago. Cry more, lib.
Well, I mean, he's
I love this country.
So.
What is happening?
I
Honest to God.
For For some reason, I feel like is he wounded veteran? Do you know?
No. I have no idea.
I'm checking on North Carolina again real quick here.
It's funnier if
very,
he is,
very
though.
Close. Like we got Trump and this is 50.1% to 48.7% with 83% reporting. So North Carolina is definitely steamrolling in here to a nip and tuck battle. Again, not knowing what those 17, where those 17% are coming from.
So if you want to go in, can you zoom into the counties or no?
I don't know.
As much as Google.
I think I can if I do over here.
All right, let's do that. Because that way I can
Carolina?
stop using my phone. Let's go to North Carolina. I'm going to need to get more beer soon, just so we're clear.
Okay.
All right. So you're talking about a difference of only 60,000 votes, give or take.
Well, it looks like there's only these very small, like this county here. Caswell County.
I don't know what the population of Caswell County is.
Neither. Franklin County. That looks probably, it's pretty close to Raleigh, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's a bunch of people there, I guess. And then you can say that county name if you want to. Perkins.
Oh, sure. Perkins.
Perkins. So we have some small pockets here, small counties left in North Carolina to kind of pull out the state one way or the other.
If you're only talking about 60,000 votes, you don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, I feel like that's still definitely well within the outcome.
Do we have any like North Carolina experts who can tell us any?
I'm
just kidding. Nobody's a North Carolina county expert.
No one's going to be looking us up to give us that information, is my guess. But what else you want to look at? What other states of interest to you?
What other states are of it? How's Georgia looking?
Yeah, let's look at Georgia. I mean, it looks like I haven't looked at anything.
Listen, the obvious states that we should be looking at right now are Ohio and Pennsylvania, but I expect those to be battleground states. The ones that I just didn't see coming, I want happening, like Texas and Georgia. It's the same as if they said New York was up for grabs. I'm like, hang on a minute. I've been watching this a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's got a pretty sizable lead here in Georgia. It looks like
again only 300,000 votes.
The country has already voted.
Yeah, I think that's so here's why he's in trouble with a 300,000 vote lead. Is all of the Atlantic counties are done. Athens is in and surrounded by red. Augusta, that's another city. Columbus, Macon. It is Macon. Yeah. Whereas you get into the more rural areas back here, up here. You can, I don't want to say necessarily if I insulted somebody in one of these counties, my God, I apologize. But,
and like I said, he's just got too much ground to make up there.
Yeah, I think that once you get out of the major city centers, that's going to be the areas where the Democrat typically does better. So if he's not winning with the way that map looks right now, I would say pretty confidently he's not winning. That's what it appears to me. I could be. Hey,
I mean, you'll be one by the end of the night.
I mean, obvious. Wait till next year. You think I'm good now? Give me 4 more years. Wait till you see what I'm capable of. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. So let's look back at Texas here. I think we got to make sure that if this is going to be even a race, that Texas has to stay red. If it goes blue, then I believe this is probably over. 38 electors. And very close. Very close. Let's go back up to Minnesota. Another one that I feel like could go either way here. Biden's up substantially here still. Looks like we're getting an update here. I was just waiting to see what that was going to be. And again, most of these western states are not going, we're not going to know some of those results until much later. If they are still relevant, we'll still be here with you. So we will stay here until we stay here no longer. I'm going to pull up the local elections again and see if I can start saving some of these races here. And you're back.
I am.
Welcome. There's my boy Kevin Wilson. The show that I host, that I get asked to guest host in Rochester.
Yeah.
The host of the show is Kevin Wilson, right here. He's running for Congress.
On the Libertarian ticket, I see.
He is, yes.
How's he doing?
They haven't reported anything from that race yet, so
he could win
winning.
at any time.
He's winning.
He's in a 3-way tie for first.
That's right. Let's pull up these assembly districts again. I'm gonna try to save some of these races so that I can pull these up better for you guys next time as we check these out too. They're not tonight.
John Hickenlooper out in Colorado is projected to take a Senate seat.
Wasn't he the old governor?
Yeah, he was a presidential candidate as well. And ethics violations.
Other than us two, who else has been a presidential candidate? There's usually been 50 presidential candidates the last 4 years.
It's basically once Donald Trump does it, I feel like it's kind of like everybody looks at it and goes, I could do that.
Yeah.
We're going full on America, nothing against fat tire.
In honor of Pennsylvania.
From
Colorado
it
to
seems
Pennsylvania.
appropriate. Now we know how Colorado's going to go. That's gone to Joe Biden, and now Pennsylvania's up in the air. So let's go down that road.
I don't know. I'm interested in how these local races end up turning out because in large part, because I want to see how it turns out in relation to voter turnout, which I think is going to be super high. So
I think turnout's going to be astronomical this year.
Let's pull out these state Senate seats here again.
Yuengling's a really underrated beer.
It's the oldest brewery in North America, I believe.
It sure is. And you know what? They're doing something right. I don't drink this nearly as often as I should. It's a really good beer.
Will your wife mad if she opens this with your wedding ring?
Oh, no, she knows I do this.
Oh, okay, good. I appreciate it.
I think it's why she married me. Well, it certainly wasn't my...
Everybody has their skills.
It wasn't my good looks, intelligence, or charm, so it also definitely wasn't my money.
Not green enough?
What's that?
Not green enough?
If there had been more of it, it would have been plenty green, but that implies I had some when we got married. I did have some. I had like $72 to my name the day we got married, if you don't count the staggering amount of student loan debt that I went into to go to college and law.
Negative, you're saying.
I was definitely negative. There's no question. I might still be negative. Good God. That's why I don't ever tell my wife how much life insurance I have on myself. So if you're into betting, RJ Bell, you know who RJ Bell is?
Yeah.
He normally does sports betting. Basically all night, he keeps sending out updates for what the odds are if you want to predict a Biden versus Trump win, if you want to lay odds. And it's been going back and forth between about 60% Biden favorability of winning was the highest I saw. And then it went up as high as about 55% Trump winning at one point. Now he just sent one out that said Biden is now available at a 2-1. That was 7 minutes ago. That's a 33% chance. So I'm confused by what happened.
Well, like I said, it would depend on, which states he's adding to his list, right? Because it's hard for, I'd like to know where he started from.
Well, let's go look. All right, an hour ago, it was Biden 56, Trump 44. Yeah. Then it went 24 minutes ago, Biden 49, Trump 51. Then 18 minutes ago, it went to Trump 55, Biden 45. 15 minutes ago, went 60-40 for Trump. And then 9 minutes ago now, it was 2-1, 33%, 33-66.
Yeah.
All right, so here's where I look at all this other stuff because I find it interesting and because I find it to be a good indicator of what's happening. 4 years ago, when Donald Trump won, I did not watch any of the election coverage. I didn't pay any attention. I, like everybody else, assumed it was a foregone conclusion as to how it was going to go. So I was in the basement working actually that evening, and my phone started going off because I get updates for stock market whenever it's moving a lot. My phone goes off and tells me. So I got the first one that said Dow futures drop 200 points, and I thought, oh, it's got to be closer than people thought. Okay, whatever. And then it came up again a little bit later, and it said Dow futures down 350 points, and I went, this is going to be a close one. Kept working. And then I got one a little bit later that said Dow futures drop 600 or 700 points. And I thought, son of a gun, Trump's going to win. So then I had to turn it on to see what in the world had happened, because obviously I was blown away, confused. And the memory that I will always have from that evening is I can never remember this guy's name, and I probably should, but the guy who was on CNN, who was like their expert on the map, could zoom in on everything, down to the county, knew the populations, knew the demographics. I don't think I've ever felt worse for somebody than that guy on CNN as they keep going, well, it's not over, right? Like, this could happen, and he's in all these counties that have already not reported, and none of them have a big city. Like, well, maybe if they get double the voter turnout and all of it goes to Hillary, then maybe. And I'm watching and kind of like I'm kind of laughing about the absurdity of it all at that point. Like, oh, this poor guy. Like they're looking at him to be their savior, and it's over.
Yeah, I can see his face too. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, I never felt so bad for anybody. And this guy felt bad. Like he was supposed to be the one that
He's
was
like the weatherman, telling it's going to rain on 4th of July. Like, no, it's going to rain. I'm sorry.
And how much they just couldn't accept that was the reality I just found it funny. It's the same thing that if it goes the other way tonight, you're going to see the same thing on the other side. And I'm sorry for everybody, but I find it funny because I just do. And how little I care is the national government shut down for about a month. I think it was 2 years ago. You want to know how little impact it had on everybody's lives? We don't remember when it happened. We all know it happened.
I mean, that was some of the glorious days of my life.
Well, yeah, that was like a dream come true for you. But literally, the government shut down for a full month, and the vast majority of the population saw no difference whatsoever and felt no long-term ramifications to date from the federal government shutting down for a month. How much am I, like, this is where I care, I vote, I'm involved, and I'll try to give people information and education, and I try to learn as much as I can about everybody. I'm interested in their policies, their tax policies, their economic policies, their civil rights policies, and everything. I also acknowledge that the president is not a king, actually has shockingly little power under our Constitution the way it was written, although that's been, let's call it, bastardized of late. And it's all, no matter who wins, no matter who loses.
What we haven't really talked about this. What do you think happens to the GOP if Trump loses?
Nothing.
Like who picks up the pieces of the GOP, right? Because, I mean,
it's a power vacuum.
Trump was not the GOP. Like,
no.
He came in from the outside, bull in the china shop.
For sure.
Ran over the establishment. Couldn't take him out. Couldn't stop him. He clearly was bigger than the party.
Yeah.
Bernie was not bigger than the Democrat Party, right?
He may have been a buyout.
He might have been bigger, but the party was stronger, I feel like. Or more insulated from outside attack, if you will, the Democrat Party.
Wow.
The Republican Party, I don't think they even thought it could happen. So,
yeah. So who picks up the pieces?
Right. So is it the, obviously I have my, I would like it to be the Rand Paul, Thomas Massie, Mike Lee wing of the Republican Party. There's a lot of people who want the Tom Cotton, Josh Hawley wing of the party, or the old guard, I don't know, the Lindsey Graham versions of the party. I don't know. But
it's not going to be Lindsey Graham, and it's not going to be the Libertarian wing either. It's not a popular enough position within the party any longer. I don't think. I
really don't know. I'm not.
So here's my guess. At this point, the Republicans have had to face up to the idea that without Trump, they don't win in 2016. And they don't get any of the stuff done they've gotten done. That was sort of the devil's bargain of you got him in and this is what you were dealt with. If he leaves, there's certainly a power vacuum. And I've heard people say Don Jr. is a candidate. I don't think that's a likely scenario. I think that if you look across the board, Mitch McConnell is not going to be president, but the man's a kingmaker. And Mitch McConnell is probably the most powerful politician in the Republican Party right now. So I think you'd have to look at who he's aligned with if you're being objective.
Sure. But he also lined up against Rand Paul, and Rand Paul is still a sitting senator in his own state, and he did not want Rand Paul to be the senator of anywhere near that. So
I'm not saying he's omnipotent.
No, listen, he has influence for sure.
Influence was the word. Thank you. I couldn't come up with that. Most powerful, like he's Thanos.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm just interested in what, it's got to be reshaped to some degree, because the Mitch McConnells of the world, as powerful, as influential as he is, and he is,
yep,
like, it's the party of Trump right now, right? It's nobody, it's no other Republicans who are, it's Trump's, and it's the party of Trump. And either that goes away in, I don't know, 3 hours or 5 years, but there's going to be it seems like and maybe even more so if he's reelected and it runs another 4 years, but the seemingly monumental destruction that was caused by that party, it would seem for them to be able to bounce back strong.
So I'm going to say that I don't actually believe, while I'm talking, can you zoom in on what the hell just happened in Ohio? I don't think the Republican Party is in reality the party of Trump. I think that Trump has tapped into something that has existed in the Republican Party. So I guess the best answer to your question is whoever can tap into what he tapped into to get the support that he got is going to take the reins. Because the ideals that President Trump actually holds, some of them are traditional Republican and some of them are not. But what he did a great job of was, it wasn't necessarily I'm your guy, I'm your savior, and I'm the one. It was, you don't want what these people are doing to you, and there is nothing wrong with you. You did fine. Nobody is speaking up for you, and all these people are just... And it basically called out the two-party system, but he took over one of the parties, which was the funniest change of events ever. So I think somebody's going to come to the same realization of, it was never about Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a symptom of a larger and deeper problem. He was not himself some lightning rod that people just wanted to follow. Barack Obama was a lightning rod people wanted to follow. He didn't matter. It didn't matter that the Democrats were going to go with Hillary Clinton. When he came on the scene, you couldn't ignore him because you knew that he was what people were clamoring for. Nobody was clamoring for Donald J. Trump to come into the White House. But what he realized was there was an entire population of people that felt like the world and the country and its leaders and the elites had basically looked down on them, shunned them, and acted as if they didn't matter. And a lot of these people had gotten out of the political process altogether. Like, Trump's first-time voters turnout, it was huge. He brought people back in simply by saying, I agree with you. This system is rigged. Now let's go drain the swamp. And he did it in a very, very intelligent way. He had brilliant campaign managers that really got the message across. I didn't love it, but I can't deny the effectiveness of it. I kind of hated a lot of parts of his campaign, but I could not deny the effectiveness and how well his message resonated there.
Yeah, I know. I do think he was kind of like a big, thumb in the eye of the establishment. We talked about this a little bit, that, kind of the Democrats, maybe Hillary said, hey, maybe he's not, and we want him to win.
God bless you.
We banned it in the studio.
Did we?
So we're in luck.
I wore a mask before I sat down.
The idea that nobody took him seriously the first time around, and that he still won, and now everybody has not done a 180, right? Now they don't take him seriously. They take him so seriously that they think he's an existential threat to the world. So if he wins first being taken lightly and not being considered anything, and then just winning and maybe you sneak up on him, but now he's not sneaking up on anybody. And if he wins again, it really has to be a setback to the establishment, the elite, whoever you want to call them, the people who have been entrenched in Washington and policymakers for decades. That's why people are pushing back on this guy. I mean, because he's not from even though he's a good old boy, he's not from the right good old boy club.
Are we frozen, by the way?
No.
All right, good. So I think you and I are actually saying the exact same thing. I think the reason Trump is still able to tap into and do what he's doing right now, and it does look like for those, let me just point out one thing real quick. Florida is, I would put it at 99% odds. Florida goes to Trump right now. They can probably just turn that red.
It's political. They'll wait till the last minute.
I get it, but it doesn't make much sense. So it says Trump is up in Florida by 3.5%. 381,000 votes he's winning by, with 91% reporting, 1,000 votes left to count. It's over. So if you believe that, fine. If not, that's okay too. Anyways, back to the Trump debate. The reason that Trump was able to take everybody surprised is because nobody recognized what he was tapping into. The reason Trump is doing what he's doing again right now is because people are still fooling themselves into thinking that this is about Trump and not about the people. That you go out and listen to people that are true Trump supporters. It's not because they think he's some evangelical Christian that has the similar beliefs or similar thoughts. They don't. The guy is who he is. The reason they're doing it is because he's the first politician that I can remember who's talking to them. He's the first politician that is acknowledging that, listen, all these things that you think are stupid are stupid. The fact that we can get nothing done in Washington is absurd. The fact that every time somebody goes there, they immediately just become an upvote or a downvote for their chosen party is insane. So let's go get actual stuff done. And whether you like him or hate him, he got a lot done in a first term for a president. He did. It was kind of remarkable, and nobody saw it coming because everybody assumed he didn't understand how the game was played. He wouldn't be able to do it. And the fact is, he didn't understand how the game was played. The difference was he didn't give a shit. He was coming out, and it was going to get done. And it was, you can agree with some of it, disagree with it, as we all do, but acknowledge the fact he got a lot done. And so now these people are more reinforced, and I still don't think it has anything at all to do with Donald Trump himself as the person, and that's what makes him an anomaly in modern politics. It's not about him. It is actually about his message. It's not him that people like. It's the fights that he'll fight. It's the fact that finally these people feel like somebody is actually standing up for us, seriously standing up for us, and not just pretending to.
Yeah, no, I think his, whether or not it was shtick or that's how he is, I feel like that's how he is, just played well. I mean, it allowed him not to be embraced, or allowed him to be embraced by those who hate the establishment, just because he was constantly pushing back on them. So you had me ask me to pull up Ohio there. Did you get what you wanted to see out of here in Ohio?
No, bring it back up for me. Can we go into counties?
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought Ohio was going Biden. That's why I'm a little confused.
Well, it was Biden lead.
I knew it was leading. I thought he was winning it. I thought it was more or less over. Third column, about 2/3 of the way down.
You mean in the O's?
I didn't want to call you out like that.
So
all right. So hang on a minute. Holy God, that's 100,000 votes. That's it. It's 100,000 votes.
It says 74 expected in, but I don't see where those, Let's see here. Let's go to some of these.
So actually, go to the blue counties and let's see how much is in from each. It doesn't say how many are in from each one.
Yeah, just a 75% expected vote in. It's about percent.
So actually, hang on, leave that up there for a minute. So you are at about 3.3 million votes. I'm an idiot.
Well, combined, they're at 4.3 million.
I'm, again, really good at math. And that's 75%?
75% of expected vote is in.
So you still got a fair amount of votes coming in. Yeah. You got 1 million.
Yeah.
And change. I didn't need to use a calculator to do that math in hindsight.
Well, it's because you're super smart. Again, we're still waiting on. Oh, I'm still waiting on, I guess, some update from North Carolina, because I feel like that's the one that I think could still flip back red here. Let's see if we got any update on Pennsylvania here. It's basically a dead heat in Pennsylvania here. 809,000 to 806,000.
Only 25%.
Only 25% expected.
Let's dive in.
Let's pull in Let's pull up Pennsylvania here and see what we get.
It's after the O's.
Thanks.
Screw you, I'm funny.
All right, so let's check out Pittsburgh and Philadelphia first. So we've got, again, only 25% in Pittsburgh.
I don't know if that breaks it down that much.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if that's just a general, that it just might be a. Yeah, we'd probably have to. We'd have to know how many registered voters are in each one of these districts, and then compare them to the votes that they have listed here to be able to know how much is actually left. I'm guessing it's not 25%. I think that 25% is just a statewide total. But the overall total, I mean, we're talking, a handful of thousand votes here. So.
All right. Pennsylvania, according to the map on the Google homepage, is now lit red. And let me see here.
Pull up the presidential stuff again here.
That's crazy. I listen, if those are all we're waiting on is those gray areas, Trump won Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
If Trump won Pennsylvania, we can all go home.
I mean, I think he wins Pennsylvania.
That's Joe Biden's hometown.
I mean,
if he can't win Pennsylvania, what is he doing?
Pennsylvania just went red on the map.
There it is. So, I got another update for you. This is Odds Shark, and a big thank you to our friend.
Oh, okay.
Donald Trump is now the minus 340 betting favorite, meaning an implied odds of 77.27% chance to win per Bovada.
And how much did Mr. Malley put on that wager?
I'll wait for the response. Malley, let me know. How much did you win?
I haven't checked my predict it thing because it's on my phone. My phone is my camera.
So that's why, listen, we can look at maps, we can look at polls. And this is what I was going to talk about earlier. When I started paying attention to the Dow futures last time around in 2016, here's what I've learned. It's an important lesson. The guys who do polls are trying to sell ads. If they tell you what you want to hear, that's what you're going to go and buy and listen to and watch, and they know that. The people that have actual money on the line, the stock market, institutional investors, that kind of stuff, look at their data because it's far more revealing because they have money on the outcome, not on getting any of us to tune into it. So I think it's a greater indicator is look at what the stock market does, look at what other industries do, and look at what the politicians themselves do. The reason I thought Texas was never in play is because Biden didn't go there. If Texas was in play, Biden was going to go there.
And it was funny to listen to people say, like, oh, Trump's out of money. He gave up on Florida. I'm like, no, he won Florida. It's over.
Right. And say what this is what I wanted to say about Trump, too, that I will give him all the credit in the world for. Whatever polling he uses in 2016 was so far ahead of what everybody else was doing that it was unbelievable. Because they came out later on and just said a week before the election, they knew it was over. It was already over a week beforehand. There was no mathematical way he could lose.
We got our first report out of Arizona, another possible swing state here, really close. They have Biden leading here early with 48% of the vote in, 848,000 to 709,000 votes, so 53 or 54% to 40 of Arizona. North Carolina, we talked about this a little bit. They are super close here. They are all but tied here.
Wow.
2,507,130 to 2,504% reported in. So it's a basically virtually dead heat.
Can we dive into the counties?
Yeah, let's dive into the counties.
Hell yeah.
North Kakalaki.
Stop it.
Wait, you never heard it called Kakalaki before?
I've never heard it called. Nobody has heard it called North.
There's Kakalaki hot sauce. So I didn't make it up.
You know weird things.
North Carolina, born and raised. Take off your shirt. Wave around your
The
head like
N
a
comes
helicopter.
before the O's, by the way.
Thanks.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
So we still have some unreported counties
Scroll
here.
it up here.
These numbers are not as updated as the previous number here. Maybe they'll update while we're watching them here.
What county is that up there? If you don't mind me asking.
Which one?
Above Greensboro, the one that's still gray.
Oh, it just went red.
Well, never mind then.
Caswell County.
Caswell County. All right.
But they haven't updated here. Like, so we just looked at on the big map. This is supposed to refresh automatically here, so I didn't want to. Like I said, these 9 o'clock states here really are going to set this whole thing up, because we kind of know what happens out west for the most part.
So it looks like Coswell County, North Carolina, did go for Trump in 2016.
And 2020, because they just flipped. So, but that update hasn't happened on the deep dive part of the states here. So, like, there's still a miscount. Like, they're still behind a little bit on the reporting on the state reporting.
That's nuts. This is going to be such a close election.
We'll see. Like I said, it's still early here.
Popular vote wise.
Yeah. Do we have a over? I mean, I guess no, they don't have any of that left.
So right now, Joe Biden is winning 131-98 for whatever that's worth, which is 0.
For the called states, you mean? For the electors?
Correct. I'll tell you what, though, this map now has. Jesus, hang on, I went in too close. Leaning towards Trump at this point is Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, Georgia, and Texas.
I'm still pulling up the Virginia thing, and Trump's still winning, but they called it for Biden still.
Like, they got to be right?
I'm assuming.
It's got to be correct.
Let's hope. If not, then what are we doing?
I mean, otherwise, it would just be so blatantly wrong.
Let's look at Texas again. Still close, but he's pulling away now. I mean, he's up by 200,000 votes, 69% reported in. I feel like, I mean, again, I we'll see what happens in these unreported places here, but
let's zoom in on the counties.
It seems to be moving in the way we all thought it was in Texas, anyway. Unless you're the most optimistic Biden supporter. So I heard there's definitely some people out there who thought that Texas was in play.
Yeah, there's been a few that said that Texas was not only in play, but going to go to Biden, and it was a given, which never struck me as...
I mean, I didn't see how they could be so sure about this.
It never struck me as logical. How's that? I could never actually make that add up in my mind. That's what I'll go with. It just didn't make sense.
Apparently Politico's having streaming issues.
Well, that'll happen.
Let's check on some local elections real quick.
I was just thinking the same thing, actually.
Let's get a little refresh here on this page and check some local stuff.
All right. We do have some early numbers.
Who are you looking at?
NYCentral.com.
Or what races are you looking at?
The 21st District U.S. House of Representatives, Elise Stefanik versus Tedra Cobb. 11% of precincts reporting. Is this what you got up here?
I don't have the 21st up there.
All right, well, let's go through it. Right now it has Elise Stefanik, the incumbent Republican, with a 58 to 42% lead, but only 11% in. 30,700 votes to about 22,000 votes. So anybody's race. It's only 1% of precincts reporting. Never mind. Anthony Brindisi with a 62-36% lead over Claudia Tenney, with Keith Price taking in 2% of the votes, 751% of precincts reporting. So that is actually interesting. And 7% reporting in the 23rd has Tracy Mitrano, the Democrat, ahead of the incumbent Republican Tom Reed, 55-45.
So here I have a Brindisi Tenney, which I feel like might be more updated than yours, what you were giving me.
Shut up.
I'm just saying.
Whatever.
This is from the New York State Board of Elections website. So this has Brindisi at 32,900 votes, 54%. Claudia Tenney at 25,190 votes, 41%. And Keith Price at 1,300 votes, a little over 2%.
I feel like mine's more up to date because people just took their votes away.
They subtracted their votes. Let's look at Balter and Caco. John Katko is taking the lead. 74,300 votes at 50.92% over Dana Balter's 44%. So he's kind of taking a significant lead there, actually, by 6 points.
Yeah.
Steve Williams, it's a big 4,500 votes, man. If you added those votes to Balter, which you almost assume this party would all have went to Balter, that's going to come into play. I feel like this 3%.
It's possible.
Still nothing here out of the 25th.
Oh my! Scroll back up.
Yeah,
that's good right there. Right here. 2,323 people didn't fill out the form for the U.S. Congress. Here's the thing that I have to imagine what this is reflective of, though. I don't know how this compares to past elections, so I might just be pulling this out of nowhere. People are just voting for president. This election is about the president.
No doubt. I mean, he is the driving force here. We got a very close race with the Mannion-Renna.
Not surprising.
43,129 votes for John Mannion, 41,722 votes for Angie Renna. That is a 2%, 1.5% really difference. 2,200 blanks here as well, my friend.
It's amazing.
And let's check out Rachel May and Sam Rogers. Also very close race. 50% to 44%. 23,500 votes for Sam Rogers. These races are tight. I think we all thought they were going to be pretty tight here. Another local assembly race here. Al Sturpey, the incumbent, going up against Mark Vineski. That is 51.67% to 45.87%. Again, really close. Pam Hunter is beating Stephanie Jackson 58% to 37%.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Magnarelli 65% to 30% over Ed Weber. Those are kind of the races that are most close related or most closely impact our neck of the woods anyway.
Next time we do an election special, I want to make it a call-in show because I want people who left things blank to call in. Like, you're already there.
Do you think somebody who's blanks listening to our show?
No.
Right.
Yeah, probably. Like, you used to write in your own name.
Guess maybe, but did you have the same updates here for Stefanik and Cobb? Because this looks like it's a runaway here. Stefanik's up 62% to 35%.
How much is reported?
It's 93 of 531, so about maybe 20% of the precincts, but that's a pretty big, sizable number. I don't know that there's cities like there is in the North Country where the voting demographics are such widely different, where there's a Tidra Cobb section waiting to report their votes in. So
can we put
guesses? Stefanik is at least in control of her race up in the North Country there in the 21st.
So let's check the Brindisi and I forgot her name.
Claudia Tenney.
Thank you. God,
so Brindisi has opened up a bit of a lead here. 32,900 votes, 54% to 25,190 votes, 41% for Claudia Tenney. We also do have, again, 1,300 votes for the Libertarian Keith Price, who is coming in just at about 2%. So that's a pretty good showing. Probably the best of the Libertarians that I've seen so far here. I haven't seen Kevin Wilson's reporting yet.
Also still very early in that one.
Still very early.
This is what does not compute for me, in case anybody saw the confusion on my face. It would seem that there's national trends that tend to follow. If Stefanik is winning handily over Tidra Cobb, it would seem logical to me that Claudia Tenney was going to at least be leading somewhat over Anthony Brindisi.
Yeah, except there's no Utica, right? So like there's
True.
no Utica, there's no place for Tidra Cobb just to be like, I'm going to circle the wagons here and then build out from there, like all Stefanik country, and then she's just trying to make inroads. And there's no track record up there. So, Montana's going for Biden, it looks like. We have a flip in North Carolina.
Oh, man.
We have a flip in North Carolina. Trump, 49.7. Biden, 49.1. That is about a 32,000 vote lead for Trump. That is with 90% of the expected vote in.
Let's go in on it and see the counties.
We're getting close. And just for fun, I just want to check on Virginia real quick. Yep, Trump is still winning, but Biden won the state. Let's check quick. Let's check quickly on North Kakalaki. Can't believe you never heard of North Kakalaki.
Stop calling it that.
The people in North Kakalaki appreciate it.
Leaving. I'm taking your shirt and going home.
You're welcome.
All
right. So they still haven't updated this here. So they still have this. They still haven't updated the county. You know what I mean? At the county level, they haven't updated the numbers here. So,
all right.
Let's go back up to the presidential full. Let's go to the big board. Let's go to the big board. All right. Let's get an update from Pennsylvania here, right? Another state we need to really pay attention to. So 29%. Oh, he's pulling away.
Wow.
So Pennsylvania update with 29% of the expected vote in. Again, we don't know where these votes are coming from and if they're not coming from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. Those are very heavy Biden voters traditionally. But right now, Trump has about 100,000 vote lead, a little more than that, 1,042,000 to 913,000. So again, 130,000 vote. That is with 30% of the expected in. And he is now taking control of Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Texas, Ohio, some of the states that we were going to need to know early on if this was going to be a race or not. Still has leads in Michigan, still has leads in Wisconsin. Let's check out Minnesota, which is another one of these states that I feel like is pretty close. Biden still has a substantial lead here with 38% reporting, a lot left there in Minnesota. And let's check Arizona one more time here because this is another state that I think is this one's kind of tightened up here a little bit with 71%, 53.9% right now for Biden, 44.8% for Trump. Little there. So.
Hey, Wyoming went to Donald Trump, so
Shocker.
I mean that's a big surprise, big turn of events.
I mean, you got Montana here, somehow still holding blue here. I'm guessing that'll flip. That's only 19% recorded in there. So let's check in on. Yeah, so Trump still has a 200,000 vote lead with 55% reporting, and they've still called it for Biden. Did we want to check in these other states like Florida and Georgia to make sure that there hasn't been any late surge one way or the other to kind of throw us off our expectations here?
No, I'm pretty confident telling you Florida is over and Georgia was never in play.
Yeah, so we got a 400,000 difference here in Florida, Georgia, 300,000. There's still, I mean,
let's go to Ohio.
Let's go to Ohio for Mr. Hussong's request.
Thank you.
We have Trump with a 260,000 vote lead here at 52.1% to 46.6% with 80% reporting. Seems over.
Let's go to the counties.
Let's go to the counties for Ohio. O is after N and before P again, right? Is that right?
I think so.
Thanks for the lesson. And we're into Ohio.
I got an update for you. Philadelphia officials say they will not be reporting any more mail ballot results tonight. About 76,000 have been tallied so far out of 350,000 some received. So
I'm not sure what's going to matter.
I mean,
right
people
now
on Twitter, this is a huge deal. I'm not sure it's going to matter either at this point unless something changes.
It's hard. These state breakdowns aren't as updated as the big board breakdowns, which is unfortunate for our show.
Yeah, this would be
here.
so much more helpful if we could go. Because right now, based on what you're seeing here, even with 75% of the vote, where are the strongholds for Biden that he's going to come back and win this state?
Yeah, he's not. Let's look at the overall Pennsylvania numbers again. You said there were 76,000 outstanding ballots?
No, 76 they've looked at, which means there's about 300,000, let's round up, that are not going to be accounted for.
Gotcha. So that's clearly obviously more. I mean, even if it's, I mean, I'm not assuming they're all Democrat voters, but even if it's like a 70-30, which, you know, I could see in Philadelphia being something close to that.
90-10.
So there's definitely more.
But you're only
within
at
the margin of
31% in here. So this is if you've got 2 million, let's call it, and that's a third. You're expecting 6 million people total votes.
Yeah.
I don't know that 300,000 is going to make a difference. If these trends continue, it doesn't matter. It's over.
I see Iowa flipped here blue. Let's look at Iowa real quick.
I have a feeling that's going to flip back.
I think so. Only 16% reporting, so still early.
So let's look at the just because this is who I do. This is who I am as a human being.
For Iowa,
and I apologize. Yeah,
you just like the 4-letter states.
I like 4-letter words. See what I did there?
Yeah, well, tons on reporting here. We still got Des Moines and Sioux City.
Des Moines and Sioux City should both go blue.
Yeah, there's just not enough. Only 16% reporting.
Yeah.
I'll be a lot of
shocked.
Yeah, I can't
if
see
Iowa manages to go blue.
Let's look back at some local elections since they seem to be getting updated rather quickly.
Is North Carolina still in play or is it over?
Well, North Carolina just flipped red, and he's got about 100,000 vote lead, I believe, in North Carolina. Pull it back up for you here.
Trump's winning in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
He held a rally there yesterday. Mr. Babylon, we are up over our shoulders. We have politicos.
Did you just call me Mr. Babylon?
Mr.
Oh, okay. That makes way more sense. I was super confused.
We had a question from the audience.
What was the question?
What site are they looking at? I was telling him it was Politico.
Shawn's looking at Politico on the screen of the phone. Trying to give you the best of both worlds here.
Yeah, this is... I'll try to pull up North Carolina again here for you. Yeah, so he's got North Carolina, 91%. He is up by 36,000 votes in North Carolina. With 9% reporting left.
Do we know what the national popular vote is at right now based on turned-in ballots?
I don't know if they're pushing that.
Lindsey Graham is back in the Senate, boys. Oh, Jesus.
Well, she deserved it.
I see what you did there. Any of you missed that? Lindsey Graham's a man.
Barely.
I mean, for sure.
So, I don't know. Let's look back up these local elections here because these are, I think, we're going to get some results here before we actually get the presidential race.
Yeah, I think you're right.
We still have a sizable lead for Elise Stefanik, the incumbent in the congressional of the 21st district. We have a sizable lead for Anthony Brindisi right now over Claudia Tenney, 51-48. We have Katko has opened up a 12-point lead. We have still no reporting out of the 25th. Apparently Kevin Wilson broke their voting machines in the 25th.
That'll happen.
Angie Renna has taken a 3 percentage point lead over John Mannion with 196 of 258 districts reporting 52,700 votes to 49,600 votes. So she has a 3,000 vote lead with 3,000 blanks. So apparently blank is running I want the campaign manager for blank.
It just doesn't make sense. Everybody votes blank. Do me a favor. Next time you're there and you're thinking of leaving it blank, just vote for one of the non-major two parties, just to give them a little bit of a bump. All right? Just to help out and keep them out of bag it.
Same thing, worse here probably.
Ballot.
We have a very close race between Rachel May and Sam Rogers, 31,800 votes to 29,400 votes with 2,400 blanks. So more than the difference there. So we'll see. I like to think that those blanks are actually just maybe a miscount, but it doesn't look like it. We have a very, very tight race here in the 127th Assembly with incumbent Al Sturpey and challenger mark for 25,600 votes to 25,200 votes, say 49.09 to 48.3%,
Only
1,300 blanks. So, again, people not voting, very significant numbers. And Pamela Hunter is still upholding her lead on Stephanie Jackson, 56% to 39%. Magnarelli, same thing, 64 to 31% over the challenger Ed Weber. Interesting. We're starting to get down to, the sizable reporting numbers for the local elections, and I think we're probably going to be able to call some of these races here soon. Let's check back up into the big board.
So just a quick national update. I said Lindsey Graham's going to win. Ilhan Omar won her re-election bid for the U.S. House of Representatives out of Minnesota. And the Associated Press is projecting Tommy Tuberville, the Republican candidate for the Georgia Senate seat, is going to win. He's going to beat the incumbent Doug Jones.
The former Auburn coach?
The former Auburn / he's coached like 5 other places, too. Sorry, Alabama, not Georgia. For the love of God, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Alabama, I know those are 2 totally different places. So Tommy Tuberville is going to take down Doug Jones in Alabama, so that's going to go the Senate seat there. It does look like the Democrats will maintain their majority in the House of Representatives. So Nancy Pelosi should be.
Is there any seat changes one way or the other, or it's still too early to?
I don't know yet. Okay. None that I've seen. I've only seen the incumbents winning. And there still are some people that are very vested in the idea that.
And the North Carolina race continues to closen, 49.8 to 49%. 2,622,000 to 2,583,000. Super close here in North Carolina.
Wow, that's crazy.
Virginia is still for Biden, but Trump is winning.
55% turned in.
Pennsylvania, he's got about 150,000 vote lead here in Pennsylvania.
I mean, listen, go back to Pennsylvania real quick if you don't mind.
No.
Thank you. So 32% of the vote is in. We know Pennsylvania is not going to release, but this is what I was just saying, though. So Philadelphia, Pittsburgh have seemingly turned in their in-person ballots already.
Probably.
So is that lead going to grow?
I mean, there's so little reporting, and again, because we can't break it down by county to know what percentages of the counties have reported. Usually the big cities, I feel like, report early because all the other suburbs have to drive in to report their ballots.
Man. This is crazy. This is why politics is actually kind of like a sporting event, and it gets kind of exciting at times. It's way more exciting if you have an indifference to it all, because then you're just surprised by things that are outside.
You have a more nuanced approach?
Yeah, like I wasn't going to be celebrating nor lamenting tonight no matter what happened. That's the reality. It was I'm watching this as it's like a good Monday night football game of 2 teams that I don't care about, that I'm watching just to watch good results and exciting play. Yeah. It's a terrible analogy, but it's pretty accurate.
I got you.
And watching this shake out, if this continues, and I guess I should qualify that statement, no pollster should have a job tomorrow.
Well, the polls are inherently flawed, and that's why I don't feel bad when I don't know that you can. I don't know that you can change the polls and make them what we all think they are. So because the polls, there's just sample problems. They can't get an accurate sample of a populace in general. So they get who they can, and then they try to take who they can and then run it through a model to decide how they can correct their sample problem, right? So they already know there's an inherent problem with getting a right sample of people to accurately mirror what the electorate is. So they have to use this modeling, and we all know how modeling works terribly, and they can never really get they can never take a true representation of the populace.
Sure.
So they're always going to be distorted, and they're always going to be distorted to one side from the way that they do their samples. So I recognize that there are polls. I don't know how to fix them. I don't know if they are anything other than just a a talking point. Like I don't think that they should be used as any kind of anything. I think there are some internal polls, and especially when you get in a more local level, when your sample become more accurate. But on a national level, it's just so hard to get an accurate sample of the populace. That's how it's going to come out to get a fair representation of the results. So I don't know. It's the polling is just flawed, and I don't feel like I'm missing out too much by not paying attention to it.
Interesting.
Anyway.
No, they don't. Biden's making a little comeback on the betting odds. He's now a 30%. He's increased to a 30% chance. So maybe he's going for the backdoor cover.
Well, like I said, I think let's check back in North Carolina here. 91%. Check Texas again here real quick. 70%. 300 over. Yeah, he's pulling away on Texas here. So
CNN has predicted that Joe Biden is taking New Mexico.
It's already been called.
Well,
I mean,
CNN's a little late to the game. I'm sorry.
No, not shocking. They have 59. Politico has 59% reporting in New Mexico with a 53,000 vote difference, 53.9% to 44% in favor of Biden. So
this is not making Virginia make more sense.
No. Arizona, 73% reporting.
What's going on in Arizona? That's an interesting one, actually.
Yeah, I just had Arizona up 53.7% for Biden, 1,286,000 votes, 1,077,000 votes for Trump. Again, 73,000 reporting there.
Interesting.
So
you want to, let's go, can we go into the counties?
You can.
Oh, you're so good to me.
Arizona, right?
Stock futures jump as U.S. election results roll in. NASDAQ futures surge more than 3%.
Big, huge section here, unreported.
Jesus, you're zoomed in on that. Oh, no, you're not. I was just looking at it wrong.
Apache County. But like I said, all these say 73%, so it's hard for me to really know if Tucson and Phoenix have actually reported that or if they haven't.
Well, I guess somebody smarter than us would have to answer this question, but when the Phoenix, whatever the county is surrounding Phoenix, when they report their numbers, wouldn't they report all of them? Typically?
So it depends. I mean, it just depends on where they're driving from. So they legitimately have to box up their ballots and drive them to whatever their collection site is. So But
doesn't the county collect them and then bring them to the main office?
I think the county reports them. So I think the Onondaga County will, like, for example, will take everything that has a race here, and then they'll report their own ballots here.
Yeah.
But, like, for example, Onondaga County and Wayne County and whatever for the
overall
congressing might be at different time places.
Gotcha.
So the 24th might have all the people from Syracuse in, but we don't yet have the reporting from Wayne County. I'm assuming there's similar situations in some of these other states.
By the way, I think as a general rule in society, from now on, anybody having to cover election poll results should be allowed to drink on the air.
Yeah. Is there a rule against that?
It's frowned upon.
By who?
FCC.
They gave Trump somebody because he's up to 109 electors now. Who did they give him to? Either way. Anything you want to look at? Let's look at some local results again. They seem to be coming in
I
rather
still
quickly.
don't know what's going to happen in Arizona.
Still early.
I know.
All right. Stefanik still up big. Tenney has pulled ahead of Anthony Brindisi with 194 out of 565 districts reporting. Tenney has now taking the lead with 59,879 votes over 57,600 votes for Anthony Brindisi, a 2%, that's just under 2% increase there. And this is bigger, has more votes than the margin, so I'm always rooting for that.
Good.
Dana Balter and John Katko. Looks like John Katko, the incumbent, is opening up a bigger lead. He's at 109,000 votes to 82,000 votes for Dana Balter. That is a 14-point lead. Seemingly that race is 393 out of 681 reporting. Seems to be going the way of John Katko. John Mannion, Angie Renna. Angie Renna still holding a 5,000 vote lead, 58,800 to 53,400 with a 51% to 46% lead. Sam Rogers and Rachel May, both again very close. Rachel May is at 37,586 votes. Sam Rogers, 36,632 votes, a difference of less than 2%, about 1.5%. So again, a very close race here in the 53rd Senate District. And the Assembly Districts, we still have a very close race here with Vineski still holding a tight, looks like about a 600-vote lead over incumbent Al Sturpey with 112 out of 116 districts reporting, so very close here, almost coming to an end. Again, 1,500 blanks. Seems like
why?
Pam Hunter still holding on. Bill Magnarelli still holding on. Go back up to the big board.
It seems that Sarah Gideon is underperforming Joe Biden, while her opponent, Susan Collins, is outperforming Donald Trump.
Was that Maine?
New Hampshire. Yeah, that's Maine. New Hampshire is going to go for Biden by a comfortable margin.
Got 92% reporting now in North Carolina, with Donald Trump still holding a 54,000 vote lead to 48.9%, so a 1% lead here. And for fun, let's look at Virginia again.
See if that's come back.
Trump's still holding a solid 170,000 vote lead, but they've already called it for Biden. And Pennsylvania, 35% in for Pennsylvania, and president has a 200,000 vote lead, 52.6 to 44.4% for Biden. And I'll check Arizona for Mr. Hussong again, who's very interested in Arizona. It looks as though that hasn't changed. Still 73% reporting. Still about
no updates. You want to refresh?
Still about this updates automatically.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. I don't want to hear it.
Minnesota, still big Biden here. It's only 41% reporting. I'm a little bit surprised that that vote has gone that different. And Iowa is still holding on here in favor of Biden, but I don't expect that to maintain. I'm surprised we haven't got a call from Florida and Georgia yet. Those seem...
well, now they're starting to say it could be closer. I mean, it's people
only
clinging
60%.
to this hope.
Yeah. So let's check Texas again here, too. Trump has a 350,000 vote lead.
At some point,
really, the local elections are really all the drama is for me right now.
I know. I'm going back into that right now.
So, I mean, really, it's the congressional race in the 22nd. I feel like Katko is going to hold on and take out Balter.
84% reporting, and Katko's got a lead. 54.69 to 41.
Yeah, like I said, he seems to be opening that up pretty substantial. Like I said, unless there's some major reporting still left in Syracuse for Balter.
I don't see it.
And Claudia Tenney has opened up a 10,000 vote lead over Anthony Brindisi. Now she's at 50.99%, so 51%. He's at 45%. Again, Katko and Balter are 14-point difference. Okay. Still nothing out of the 25th.
What's happening with Mannion and Renna?
Renna still holding on. She's got looks like about
7,000 vote lead.
Just under 7,000 vote lead, 51% to 45%. That is with 236 out of 258 reporting. 3,300.
I wasn't expecting to see 236 out of 258 reporting. I was thinking it was still early.
Yeah, no, they said the local elections are starting to come in here quickly. We're starting to get a really, really tight race here in the 53rd, too, with Sam Rogers and Rachel May. Rachel May being the incumbent, Sam Rogers being the challenger. Looks like they are within, 700 votes.
I wonder where those 700 votes came from.
Blank 3,200. Their campaign manager for blank is having a hell of a day.
I'm telling you, big showing by. Oh God!
Again, we still have a very tight race here in the 127th Assembly between Vineski and Sturpey. These are all like way too close to call here. So super interested in the 127th Assembly still. And then the 2 Senate races here that kind of overlap Syracuse, the 53rd and the 50th. And then the congressional races seem over all but the Tenney-Brindisi race, and maybe that's over too. Looks like Katko's going to hold on. Looks like Stefanik's going to hold on. And we're just basically waiting on whether or not the Tenney-Brindisi race is going to finish out here. They're at 194 out of 560.
Right, so they still
a lot of
have some
time
left
to
go. All right. According to CNY Central, right now, Donald Trump is ahead in the popular vote by a small margin, with obviously a lot still to be reported. And California is still going to come in, and that's probably going to tip it the other direction. Listen.
Here's your CNY Central for you.
It's a big move the other way. Like, this is becoming a pattern of what's happening right now.
What's that? The
Republicans are taking a lot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that we're waiting on. We knew that the trio of states, I think early on, were exactly what we thought. North Carolina, Pennsylvania specifically were the only 2 ones that I was really paying attention to. I think other people were paying attention to Georgia.
And I am, because I find it interesting.
But I do feel like those states both lean Trump now, and if Ohio stays Trump, my next thing is really just worrying about Minnesota. Not that Minnesota has it's only 10 electors, but I thought that was a state that Trump could compete in. I expect him to come back in Ohio. I expect him to come back in Montana. I'm interested in Arizona as well. But yeah, I mean, as soon as some of these states like Texas and Florida and North Carolina and Georgia start falling for Trump, you're going to start seeing the electors kind of jump significantly here. So there's definitely more out there for Trump that has not yet been officially called than for Biden anyway. More electors for sure. But I don't have a popular vote, so maybe you did.
About 39 million to 38 million right now.
Okay. What do you think happens to the Democrat Party after Joe Biden? I know we talked to Republican. We talked about Republican Party. If Joe Biden loses, what happens to the Democrat Party in 2024? I mean, we talked about pieces of the Republican Party that they build around. Is it the squad? Do they build around the squad here in the Democrat Party, the Bernie and the squads, or do they go? I mean, if Biden loses, you would think they would take that as a hint that the establishment was who took the hit, right? I mean, it wasn't Joe Biden per se. It was this is a repudiation of the whole idea that of the ruling elite that seems like they entitled to rule us. I know less about the leaders of the Democrat Party or who might be perceived as leaders in the Democrat Party other than the squad and that group of young upstart I'll say socialist leaning group of politicians that are in the Democrat Party. I'm a fan of Tulsi Gabbard. I don't think she has a home there. I think she's basically been exiled out of there. But I'm wondering what they do too. Like, I mean, the parties have seemed to lose traction with their supporters. Trump brought in, as you point out, a whole bunch of new people who he kept the Republican Party a lot, but he brought in a lot of new people for them to win. I don't know that the Democrats or the Republicans either, I guess, are in. I mean, they're not going anywhere, is my guess, but I don't know who they build around. Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if he wins, there's a totally different story because then you've got Kamala Harris, and she's kind of like, my guess is the leader of the party for 8 to 10 years. So, I don't know. Do you have any takes on the Democrat Party per se?
Yeah.
Excited.
Listen, if you lose this election and you lose to Donald John Trump on the grounds of everybody knows who he is, he's not taking anybody by surprise, you had all the time in the world to prepare, all the time in the world to plan. If you cannot beat Donald John and you decide the answer to that is you're going to just double down and move further away from the middle, and you're going to go with more policies that are, for better or for worse, less of a free market capitalist approach and more of a more taxes, more benefit, more spending, more social justice, more things that people are not there yet. I'm not even telling you they're bad ideas, but I'm telling you that the majority of the U.S. populace is not there. You're not going to win many more elections, because what this to me shows is not that white supremacy is making some grand comeback in our country. It's not saying that white nationalists are taking over or anything else. It's telling me that all you had to do was run two competent adults that were somewhere near the middle, that were not completely buried in corruption charges, that didn't have a history of all of these things happening, that had actual positive histories, and you could have won this running away. The problem is, whether you want to acknowledge this or not, the reality of the United States population as a whole is it's not moving as fast as you want them to move. So when you overreach, like in my opinion they did here, not with Joe Biden, but Kamala Harris was an overreach. That shouldn't have been the VP candidate. You did. Then you got behind every silly and stupid movement and cause that you could, where the average person sitting at their home at night, that's not what's on their radar. It's not. And maybe it should be, but it's not. And if you keep trying to play for the world that you wish was here now, you're going to keep losing. And more people are going to double down on this, because ultimately, listen, the same thing. I've had conversations with a lot of people. I don't know one person that was excited to vote for Joe Biden. They were going to vote for him. And they were very upfront and honest with me, and I appreciate it, and I understood. I've always said, listen, I don't give a shit who you vote for. God love you. Vote for whoever makes you happy. But the number of people that would almost secretly tell me of like, look, I think Trump is an asshole. I can't stand the guy. I can't tell you how much I hate him being president. And then I looked at the other side, and this is what I got. So I'm going to vote for him. And I get it. So I don't think, again, I think the more that everybody focuses on Trump, it is a failure to address the actual problem. It is a failure to face up to what caused Trump. And whatever caused Trump is the actual problem the Democrats need to address if they're going to do this.
Yeah, but I guess I think them and the Republicans are part of the problem, right? They are the problem. So
they are the entire problem. Is that listen, you covered it actually great in how New York does it. They've made a duopoly. They've made it so that nobody else can compete with them, and it's one or the other. So if they don't get a third party in here, and the Democrats keep allowing the AOC, Bernie Sanders wing of the party to take over, then you're not going to get very far. You need somebody that is not quite that far to the left, because whether you like it or not, the country is not. And forgive me, but the idea of socialism in any shape, way, or form strikes me as a bad idea. The idea that you have actual sitting members of Congress saying things like the national debt doesn't matter and we can print more money is mind-boggling. That you think there are no long-term consequences trouble me. And listen, it's not just the Democrats. My God, the Republicans haven't figured out how to stop spending money. Nobody knows how to stop spending money in office, because this is what they do. And the problem, quite simply, is us. We don't care. We won't vote for somebody that cuts anything. We won't vote anybody out for overspending. So it's a non-losing issue for them. So they're going to keep spending the money, and they're just going to spend the money and spend the money and spend the money. Then they're going to print the money to make up for it, and they're going to borrow more money. And then eventually, as in anybody who's ever gone over their head in debt, you can get by for a really long time until you no longer have the income to pay your bills. Then it ends badly. Yeah. We're heading for that. That is not some premonition of distant doom. Within the next decade, how can we continue? When we budget, we bring in $3 trillion a year in tax revenue, and we budget spending $4 trillion. That's not how a budget works. Unless you're the government. Then apparently that is how it works. The other thing is, if these election results hold, New York State's in trouble in the short term, because they're not getting a bailout.
No.
We're not getting a bailout.
Yeah, and I feel like that has what has kept our local officials kind of in line or falling in line behind the governor was just holding out hope that they were going to get some of that money.
That money ain't coming.
I'm not sure it's coming.
I would be shocked if they came through with some. If they do a bailout, it's going to be directly to municipalities, and it's going to skip the state because Donald Trump is just petty enough to do that. I'm telling you right now, that would be my projection.
I'm just double-checking some of local races here. 243 out of 258. Renna still has a 6-point lead on John Mannion. Sam Rogers is taking the lead on Rachel May.
Wow.
44,800 votes to 43,200 votes. If he wins,
good. I'd like to talk to him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. You know, he was a long snapper for SU.
Was he?
Yeah.
I was captain, a long snapper for the Ogden Bears in Pop Warner football.
You guys are the same. You're like twins.
Basically the same.
You should run for state senate.
Our punter was terrible, though. More than once, I got drilled with the kick right in the rear end after snapping it to him. More than once in a season. The snap was perfect, and you bite your tongue.
So it looks as though we have our first upset here. I mean, I see 116 out of 116 reporting here out of the 127th Assembly District with Mark Vineski. 29,565 votes, 49.53% of the vote. Al Sturpey, the incumbent, the Democrat incumbent, 47.8% and 28,500 votes. That would give Vineski a 1,000 vote lead, minus absentee ballots. So maybe we have our first upset of an incumbent here.
It's possible.
And let's see. So we're starting to get down. We still got, I don't know.
There's 12 left there, or 15 left in the Mannion-Renna race. Still 15 districts to report.
I think there's still a bunch of reporting here and there. I feel like Tenney has kind of opened up a lead, but there's still a lot of reporting.
Biden's making a little comeback. 33% betting odds now.
Well, we're still waiting on some states to kind of close the deal here. Florida's at 91% and a 400,000 vote lead for Trump. North Carolina's at 93% with a 65,000 vote lead for Trump. Virginia is already called, but Trump has still a 150,000 vote lead somehow. Pennsylvania. Trump has opened up a sizable lead here in Pennsylvania with 42% reporting. He is up 55% to 42%.
He's up by
350,000 vote increase here in Pennsylvania. That's with 42% reporting. Ohio's at 89% reporting. Trump seems to have moved to a strong position here, where he's a 400,000 vote lead, 53% to 45.6% in Ohio. Michigan, looks like Trump is going to win Michigan, or at least early on here, 41%, but he's got a pretty big double-digit lead here. He's got a 4% lead here in Wisconsin with 52% reporting.
How's Minnesota look?
Minnesota, still big for Biden, 47% in, 840,000 votes to 575,000 votes. Seems Minnesota is in control of Biden, or Biden has control of Minnesota here so far. We'll see how that turns out. Still less than half of the reporting here. Arizona is still stuck at 73% reporting, so nothing updated on there. And where's Texas here?
We've got early.
I'm waiting.
All right. Hispanic votes.
Yeah.
Per 2020 exit polls in Florida. Clinton back in 2016 was a plus 27 with the Hispanic vote in Florida.
So more you saying Clinton was 27 better than Trump?
Correct. Biden was plus 8. Georgia, Clinton was plus 40. Biden was plus 25. Ohio, Clinton was plus 41. Biden's plus 24.
Yeah. So that was kind of the one populist that everybody thought was going to swing to Trump this year. And that's why there's a lot of these border states were wondering if that was going to be enough to push them over. the New Mexicos and Arizonas, along with the Texas and Floridas as well. Sure when they're going to start calling some of these states. It seems like they're close enough. They should be.
So I don't think Pennsylvania has any chance of being called tonight because there's just too many outstanding ballots across the state.
That's why they were trying to. And I heard they say that Biden's camp said there was no way they were going to be able to call the election tonight.
Yeah.
So we're going to have at least one night of rioting. I will say that Joe Jorgensen has, I will say that it looks as though the Working Families Party is going to save their ballot line because they are now at 240,000, 5%. The Conservative Party looks like they're going to save their ballot line, which is at 160,000 votes, and they're at 3.39%. Nobody else is even close. So Libertarian Party is next at 0.67%, 31,000 votes. Not nearly enough for... we're at 4.7 million votes here in New York. You had 15,000 people leave the presidential ballot blank.
I get it.
I'm just saying.
If there was one I understood leaving blank, it was that one.
And 12,000 write-ins. Wonder if you got any votes for president, Mr. Hussong. You think?
No.
Not for me anyway. So
that's okay. I don't write myself in either.
It's fun. Check out one more run here through the locals.
Ohio is too close to call, they're saying. This is what's so wonderful about Twitter, because I've said this before, and Twitter is a godless hellscape from which humanity will never recover. But it also gives you this great insight into the people on both camps as far as what they're thinking and the justifications and the hope and the okay, no, it's not over yet, and it's this, and Trump could still pull this state off, and Biden could still pull this state off, and you're like, oh, you guys are adorable.
Cute.
Yeah, good luck.
Still, Angie Renna still holding a very strong, sizable lead on 6%. That's pretty big. That's way bigger than I thought it was going to be.
That's a much bigger gap than I anticipated.
Again, that's with 243 out of 258 districts reporting. 61,000 votes to 54,000 votes. Again, almost 6,000 vote difference here. That's pretty.
So are you going to run the folks through some local elections?
I can.
Cool. I got to leave for no reason at all.
The 53rd is still very close. Sam Rogers still holding looks like a 1,600 vote lead, 8% to 46%. These blanks are killing me here. Again, we still got Vineski. Looks like he's pulled off the upset of the incumbent. We'll see if the absentees, how much absentees are actually left out there. We still have, looks like Pam Hunter, probably going to win her reelection. Riley's going to win his reelection. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, at least anyway, with the local elections. Stefanik looks in control. Katko looks in control. I feel like Tenney is maybe not in control, but is in a real good position through about half of the districts reporting. I think Katko's in really good position. I think most of these races are probably we're going to know the results here within the next maybe half hour on these local races anyway. My guess is not so much with the presidential race. Oh, they switched Montana to, that's as expected.
Well, that's interesting.
And we're still waiting on Iowa here. 54% behind Biden, so Biden has a 100,000 vote lead in Iowa. A little shocking there. You said Ohio was getting called? Is that what you thought? Or too close to call?
Ohio call.
Well, we got 90% expected vote in here. We have a 400,000 vote lead for Trump, 53% to 45%. I guess that may depend on who else is left to report. We got the The West Coast is woken up.
Hey, California.
11 o'clock. 11:01.
What do you know?
11:01.
That's all it took.
So here is the Biden-Trump with the calling of Washington, Oregon, and California. Looks like Colorado too. I don't know if that was new or recently, but anyway, they called that too.
Colorado went a while ago.
So 209 to 119 for Biden. So what else is he going to get here? Biden. He's at 209. He needs to get to 270, right? So he needs another 61 electors. So where's he going to get them?
I mean, he could get Pennsylvania.
I think he's going to get Minnesota at this point.
Okay, so Minnesota has.
So that's 10, I think. Yep. So that brings him at 219.
Let me get mine. So if he gets Minnesota with 10 and he takes Pennsylvania with 20.
Let's not give him Pennsylvania.
I'm not giving it, but that's how.
Let me just use this map for a second here. So let's give him the striped maps here, I guess is my point. So let's give him Minnesota, which is 10 electors. And let's give him Arizona, which I think is 11. So now he's at another 21. So that brings him up to 230.
Mm-hmm.
He still needs 40 more electors, right?
So
the states that are still open for him are Iowa, which is 6. I don't see that holding, but
I don't
right now that's his. Nevada, 6. Even if he won that, and Iowa, he's not enough.
It's not enough.
And if he gets to Hawaii,
which he should.
4.
Yeah.
So now he's at another 16, right?
Yeah.
Wait, no, 10,
No.
11, 21, 25. He's short.
Either.
He needs another state.
Even if he gets all of those, which I don't know that he'll get Nevada. I'd be surprised if he gets Iowa, but I won't rule it out. He needs to get Pennsylvania.
He needs to flip one of these states.
He needs Pennsylvania or Ohio.
Because even if he wins just all these here, right? If it's 11, 10, 6, and 6, that's not enough.
11, 10, 6, and 6.
11, 10, 6, and 4, actually, I think it was. Let's see, 11, 10, 6, so 21, 27. So he would need all those. That would give him the 6, 12, 22. Yeah, they give him 32. So that would give him the win. He needs to win Minnesota, Iowa, Nevada, Arizona to hold on.
Minnesota, Arizona, Iowa, and Nevada. It's not impossible.
No, it's not impossible. I think we'd be surprised if Iowa went, but it is right now. I think Nevada's a complete toss-up. They called New Hampshire for Biden, which is a little bit. I thought that there was going to be a more split, maybe more 2-2. So, of course, this is also with Biden winning Virginia that he's losing. So we're at 58% there, and Trump has increased his lead to 170,000, but they've already called it for Biden somehow. Have they called it for Biden in your Google?
What's that?
Virginia.
Hang on. Three hours ago, Virginia got declared for Biden.
I mean, again, I'm guessing they know something we don't know, but
I assume so as well, that it's not just over. I think, unless I'm mistaken, Trump may have won Florida officially. I mean, he did win Florida.
I think he's going to,
but for some reason they don't declare it.
Yeah. We have a question from Nick Pagano. He asks, does everyone agree nothing will be settled tonight? The lawyers will step in regardless of tonight's outcome, popular vote or electoral vote?
Probably. I think that's the most probable outcome.
I think right now, what you were talking about, Pennsylvania, leads us to most likely intervention through a lawyer if they're not going to count a bunch of ballots.
Right. Unless
and
it
leave
gets
a state that's has enough electors to swing it.
Pennsylvania, Ohio are the two biggest ones right now that are too close to call. But look, let's keep in mind, every year we hear about states that are too close to call coming down to the wire, but they've always managed to call them that night. So I don't want to say definitely, yes, that's going to happen. I think it's entirely plausible. I think that it might even be likely, but it's not a given. Mostly because let's say that there are, they said something like 2 million absentee votes. Can that be? Or go to Pennsylvania real quick if you don't mind.
You want me to go to the overall here, or do you want me to break
No,
it down?
go into the counties.
Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is leading Pennsylvania. A little behind the reporting here on the state breakdown.
Right. So if I'm looking at this and giving you my best guess, there,
Just updated a little bit.
that's not too close to call.
No, unless you're telling me that there's 300,000 absentee ballots that they're not going to count. Then obviously, if they all went one way, that would be too close to call. But there's only 45% expected reporting right here. So again, the localized the graphics that we're using here, the state by state graphics seem to be a little behind on the overall presidential graphic as far as updating anyway. Pull up Pennsylvania on the big board here and see how close it is different here. Yeah, nope, there it is. It's updated now. But yeah, they're still about the same.
I find it hysterical that Joe Biden won California at 11:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, well, 98% in Florida. We have a 400,000 vote lead for Trump, 51.3% to 47.8%. Probably should be comfortable enough calling that one. Same thing in Georgia, 10-point lead, 66% reporting. North Carolina, still holding out for Trump here, 94% reporting. Trump has a 50.1 to 48.7 lead, just about a 50,000, looks about 60,000, 70,000 vote lead in North Carolina. Yes, he still has a 160,000 vote lead in Virginia too somehow. Ohio, 91% reporting, looks big for Trump.
That's a big number.
Yeah, for them to say too close to call, I mean, there would have to be a significant number coming in from one of these big cities to make that even a question. Let's go back down to Arizona here, because Arizona is kind of one of these ones. Oh, it's tightened up a little bit. Oh, no, it's still 73%. That has not moved in a while, the Arizona number. Same thing with the Minnesota number. Same thing with the Iowa number. All right, head back to the locals.
On a side note, one of my favorite things on Twitter is the very, very Caucasian national media personalities that are upset with the Latinos for their racism.
Well,
sorry, maybe it's just me, but I find it hysterical.
All right, let me give you an update on some of these locals. Lee Stefanik looks like she's opening up a can of whoop-ass up on Teacher Cobb.
Is that the technical term?
Technical term, whoop-ass. 131,000 votes to 75,000 votes.
What's wrong with you? Can of whoop-ass. Apparently the shirt's not the only thing from 1990s around here.
Nope.
Hey-o! You're welcome.
Tenny, still a little bit more than half reporting, but she's up almost 10 points now. That's almost
a big lead.
Geez, yeah, man, she's opening up a pretty big lead. Again, not knowing what parts of Utica have left reported, so there's still a lot of districts left there.
Yep.
But Tenny has opened up a lead. Kako is dominating Dana Balter through 440. He's again still up 14 points. Big number there. It looks like.
Wow.
258 out of 258 reportings. Angie Renna looks to be a winner in the 50th Senate District. 63,299 votes to 56,071 votes. 51% to 45%. I would call that an upset if that holds true.
You know what? I would actually agree.
again, I thought it was interesting. I just thought that the name recognition was going to be the deciding factor in that race. It's still close. I can't imagine that many absentee ballots swinging that race there. So if true, we might have two, which I would call upsets. I think the Vineski over Sturpey is an upset, and Renna over Mannion is an upset, which, on a side note, that's two Republicans beating two Democrats in a very heavy Democrat state. Interesting to me.
It's also a not terribly Democrat section of the
Sam
state.
Rogers, Rachel May is nail biter of all nail biters with 241 out of 253 districts reporting. Sam Rogers is holding a 440 vote lead, 46,471 to 46,031. That is 57.59% to 47.14%. Almost dead heat. 241 out of 253 election districts reporting. Sure if I'm calling Mark Vineski because I'm not sure I have the authority to do that, but it looks like he's winning. The Rogers-May race is just nip and tuck. The Angie Renna looks like she has pulled out a victory over John Mannion. Again, this is all minus absentee ballots, but 258 out of 258 reporting, she seems to have won. Dana Balter, John Kakko. Again, this race seems to be in Kakko's control, and I don't know. Again, there's still a lot of reporting left, but it would have to be a heavy Syracuse area to make up that many votes for Dana Balter.
I got another fun national stat for you.
I'm ready.
Starr County, Texas, the most Latino country in the United States, 96% Latino population. Clinton was plus 60 in 2016. Biden is plus 5 with 98% reported.
So that should, in theory, play well in Nevada for Trump. If the Latino vote is coming out in favor of Trump, which seems like it is strongly, especially compared to 2016, that should give or should help with Trump's winning of Nevada.
I mean, this is surprising, I guess is the best word for it.
Well, that's what we're at. That's what we're at election day. Surprises.
You know what? It's surprising and it's not at the same time. It always seemed to me it was going to be closer than what the polls were indicating, and people were citing these polls on about a double-digit lead for Biden, and every time I was going, it's impossible. There's no way. I just don't see it. Florida was going to be an 11% victory for Biden. I was going, what?
So we've got our closest race yet in Virginia that's already been called for Biden, and Trump's still winning. By about 100
So that's got to turn, right? It's only 60%.
Right.
I'm going to assume that's got to turn.
It's been at about 120 to 100,000 votes every now 60%. I'm assuming they must know that there is a high Biden turnout just waiting to add to that total, because it has not once been Biden leading.
Yeah, from the get-go that has been. But I have to assume that these people know something you and I don't know.
And we've not had a lot of update from Arizona here. Let's see. Still 73%. That's one that I wanted to pay attention to. Texas looks like it's still up. Let's check out Pennsylvania. Trump is up by 450,000, 410,000 votes now. He's up 13 points in Pennsylvania. It's only 46% reporting, so my guess is there's, still some Biden voters out there, but can't imagine that being something that we're waiting too long for. I mean, I know you said there was 300 outstanding absentee ballots.
That was just in Philadelphia County.
Sure.
So across the state, I think there's like 2 million absentee. But you have to assume the trends are going to hold, which is the people, even early voters.
I mean, the map is kind of coming a lot of the way I had thought. I mean, there's still, Minnesota's one that I'm a little surprised. That's such a big discrepancy. Iowa is super tight now, so that seems to be moving in the president's direction. If he can win Iowa, that really kind of hurts.
What's that?
If Iowa flips to Trump.
Those are 6 very important electoral votes to Mr. Biden.
It could be. I said I wish we got some update from Arizona, which we haven't in a while. So. Yeah, give one more refresh to the. Give another refresh to the.
I guess here's the thing. All of these states that were supposed to be blowouts, Florida, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, are all now too close to call. Every one of them is too close to call.
Tenney is opening up a bigger lead on Anthony Brindisi.
The local results lead me to believe the national results are going to follow.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen some Republican kind of, like if the Tenney and Katko, those voter turnouts hold, I mean, those are big wins. I mean, that's 57 for Katko, 54 for Tenney. Again, we have the Republican beating well-backed John Mannion in the state Senate race. Interesting so far. Like I said, I mean, there's been a lot of talk of just being New York being a Democrat heavy city or state, which it is, but you can clearly find spots that you can run as a non-Democrat and win. So, I'm not sure. We're looking here.
I mean, listen, I think at this point we know what's happening locally. We don't know.
We're still waiting on the Rachel May, Sam Rogers race. I mean, that seems to be basically there's only there's like a handful of districts left, and it's 500 votes. So that's still way up. We might not know that winner for a couple days.
That's fair. It seems nationally we're not going to have a presidential victor declared tonight one way or another because the mail-in vote was too numerous. And they're not. We may know the winner, but we're not going to know the winner. How's that?
Okay.
You might be able to figure it out, but it's not going to be declared tonight. And it seems that the Democrats are going to keep the House. The Republicans are probably going to keep the Senate, from what I'm seeing right now.
So you're saying another 4 years exactly the same, sounds like?
Listen, here's what I could tell you.
It's so entertaining.
The stock market likes gridlock. So if I'm watching the stock market and I'm looking at the futures are all got so high that they had to halt trading. You know how bad it's got to be for them to halt trading in the after hours when the market's already technically closed? It's got to be a lot. But it looks like Susan Collins is going to win in Maine. That's one that the Republicans needed to keep the majority. Tommy Tuberville, I don't think they needed to win that seat to keep the majority, and they did. Do we know what happened in Arizona?
You want an Arizona Senate race?
Yeah, Mark Kelly and Martha McSally.
Let's just go to the Senate race, big board.
I like it.
Says the Dems have flipped one seat in the Senate. They need to gain 3 or 4 tonight to win the majority. So, you want Arizona senators? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, let's find out the Arizona Senate race.
Right now, we have the 72% reporting, 1.3 million votes for the Democrat Kelly, 1.073 for McSally, the GOP candidate. That's a 45 to 55, a 10-point lead for the Democrat.
I'm going to go ahead and say I think Mark Kelly's going to win. That lines up with what I would have anticipated. Let's check out Georgia.
The GOP seems to have an 11-point lead over the Democrat.
All right, so David Perdue's going to beat John Ossoff. And now the special election, I don't think we're going to get a winner from that. Iowa, what's happening there?
A lot of corn.
Well done.
Looks like it's pretty close here. 70% reporting. The incumbent, the Republican, is at 47%. The challenger Democrat is at 49%. So a 2% lead. It's about 23,000 difference in votes, 575,000 to 552,000. So
I'll call that
still
one
too close
to call.
Yeah, too close.
All right, now let's go to Michigan.
To Michigan. Right now we have a big lead for the Republican, who is the challenger to the Democrat incumbent. Right now, I'm not sure of the first names, James and Peters, but
John James and Gary Peters.
John James leads Gary Peters 55% to 42%. So 46% reporting, so still halfway in there, but a pretty big lead for the challenger.
That does not bode well for Joe Biden.
No.
That does not bode well for Joe Biden at all. The incumbent Democrat. How much? Wait, what's the percent? Oh, okay, it's only. We go back to Michigan. You're in Minnesota. Can you click on it for the counties? Or does that not work here?
Oh, I have to go over here to do this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making you do all this work tonight.
So many clicks.
I know. You'd think you were on a different site that was for adults only.
All right.
I think I'm funny.
You're funny.
Thanks.
So I don't know if this helps you here.
It does. That's what I was curious about right there. All right, so John James.
The Youpers haven't voted yet.
The Youpers. What a great name. I learned what a Youper was when I was in basic training. I had no idea before that.
Let's see who's winning Justin Amash's House seat.
Sure. Actually, are we still on Senate?
We're on Michigan.
I got like
Senate.
3 more states I want to find out.
Yeah. Let's go back. What do you want?
All right. Montana.
I would have liked to have seen Montana.
I hate you.
You're welcome. Montana. I have the Democrat challenger leading the Republican incumbent 51% to 49%, only 33% reporting, so very early, 96,000 to 92,000 votes. Still too early, but too close to call, but yeah.
Now let's go to North Carolina. Cal Cunningham, your boy Cal Cunningham. Cal Cunningham.
Very tight race with the Republican incumbent Pat Tillis. Is that his name, Pat?
No, Tom.
Tom Tillis. It's all the same. 3 letters.
Cal Cunningham.
48.7% to 47%. Only about 100,000 votes differences with 93% reporting.
Too close to call.
Now leading Republican, but
last one I want to check is Texas.
They already called it for. They already called it for the
Cornyn or for Cornyn. Cornyn.
Already called GOP. Anybody else? Anyone of the senators?
No, it's Iowa, Montana, North Carolina. Those are the ones I'm very curious about.
So there's still only 2 that were kind of undetermined. Looks like most.
No, Iowa, Montana, and North Carolina. We don't know yet. From a Senate standpoint.
Let's go back to the presidential big board. All right. Iowa has flipped red on our big board here.
I suppose that's not terribly shocking.
Not shocking, but it didn't flip all the way until 73%, and it's only flipped by 1,000 votes, 800 votes. So it's still very, very, very close. But Iowa has now flipped red. Trump is leading with 49.2%. Biden's at 49.1%. Again, that is 594,469 votes to 593,612 votes, a difference of less than 800. So still up in the air at 73%, but is shifting red. I don't see anything called or changed here on the map that I was looking at here.
You want to hover over Texas? We don't got to go into the counties. I'm just curious how many are in.
75% reporting. Still 5.
All right, I lied. I want to look at the counties. I don't know why I said I didn't. I knew I did as soon as I said the words.
Texas by the counties per Mr. Hussong's request.
I'm curious all the same.
So it looks like a lot of suburbs or, I want to call it red country up here in the top here, still left to be reported.
So I'm going to go ahead and say Texas.
Probably going to be for the DJT here.
I don't think there's any way around that at this point.
We were at 11:26 Eastern, waiting on. We just have nothing from Nevada, which is probably the one key state that is undetermined, or at least had an uncertain outcome. Seems as though we're waiting on their. I mean, obviously they closed probably the same time that Texas or same time California did, but they're still open. Minnesota. 60%.
They've called. Fox News has called Arizona for Joe Biden.
Okay. That hasn't for me in an hour. They've been at 73% reporting for as long as I've been clicking on it here.
I gotcha.
So those 11 will take them up to 220. And then Maine looks like, are they going to split those? How is that going to work? 232. 238.
All right, so we've got some projections that say Biden's going to take Arizona, Virginia, and Vermont.
Okay.
But Trump's going to take Ohio.
They've already given all those to everybody.
No, they haven't. They're still lean.
Well.
And the surprise of the evening, Donald Trump's going to take Mississippi. It's now official.
It's official on my big board already. He has to flip Pennsylvania to win.
So now that he won Arizona, he may not. If he could take Michigan and Wisconsin, he doesn't need Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I don't think he takes Michigan. That's,
based on that Senate result, I don't either. I can't imagine too many people going in, voting against the incumbent Democrat and then voting for Joe Biden.
Yeah, I don't think he gets Michigan. I think he's at 220 with Arizona.
Give him Arizona.
So let's give him, that means he's at 230 with Minnesota. He gets to, let's say he wins, that's 236 with Nevada, 240 with Hawaii.
He still needs 30.
And then give him Maine here, give him both of Maine to 242. He needs Michigan. He needs 28 more electors to get to 270. Pennsylvania doesn't even do it. That's only 20.
Pennsylvania's 20. Ohio is 18. Wisconsin is 10, and Michigan is 16.
Like if all the leans go the way they're leaning here, Trump wins. It's over.
Right. And I'm not.
Regardless of what Nevada does.
How many electoral votes is Nevada?
6.
I'm not sure he gets those.
It doesn't matter.
It does. It's going to matter ultimately, but.
No.
No?
I mean, it might not. If he doesn't get Pennsylvania, Biden can't win. Doesn't matter.
He needs to get 2 out of the 4 of Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
That's what I'm saying. If all these lean the way if they all finish the way they lean right now, Trump wins. It's over. Regardless of what Nevada does. And that's assuming Alaska goes red and Hawaii goes blue.
They will.
And like I said, even if Nevada goes blue, he can't get to 270. He needs Pennsylvania or Michigan or North Carolina, or he needs one of these things to flip.
So out of these 4 right here, the Rust Belt, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, he needs 2.
Yeah, or North Carolina, which I think North Carolina is.
I think North Carolina is done. I think it's over.
I mean, it's still close enough, but it's swinging his way.
What was the percent of the vote that was turned in?
94.
Yeah, I mean that's hard to fathom. That
it's only 100,000 votes ish. So I mean, but again, to your point, he needs to flip 2 because
he needs 2 out of what was
he's only going to be at 242 total.
And honestly, if he can't win Pennsylvania, he deserves to lose.
Yeah,
I think it's a general rule of thumb. If you can't win your home, as I say that, I know Donald Trump's from New York, so I guess I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Can't win your home state.
I mean,
but now he's a resident of Florida.
He does win the whole state except for about 4 counties, I guess.
6.
Or whatever. So here's Pennsylvania still. 51% reporting. Trump has a 500,000 vote lead.
Yep.
So it's 56% to 42%.
Man, you'd need such a turnaround.
Such a swing.
It's not impossible.
Michigan, same thing, though. I mean, it's only 48%, so there's less likely. I mean, there's more likely that there's still votes out there to swing it, but there is not. I mean, that's a sizable chunk.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, still keeps pulling away for Trump here. I don't want to lose sight on Texas here. Let me double check Texas. Nope.
Yeah, God forbid.
Said Georgia is still big. Florida is all but over. North Carolina is at 94%. Again, with about less than 100,000 votes for sure. So, I don't know. I think we're all just waiting on these Rust Belt states to kind of finalize. I don't know how much can change from here on out without having. I mean, even if everybody else closes and if everybody else falls, all the other states fall exactly the way we're looking at here, and all the leans go the way they lean, then Pennsylvania won't even matter what Pennsylvania does at the end of the night.
Yeah,
they can count their heart's desire, and it'll be over.
He needs to take two. I'm not at all optimistic for Biden in Michigan right now. The fact that your incumbent Democrat senator got beat so soundly, or maybe not got beat, but is getting beat so soundly, is not. You can't be feeling good if you're Biden campaign about that.
And I'm still interested in this whole. I know it's much closer now, so I feel like but Trump is still leading in Virginia, even though they've given it to Biden since 9:00.
Do me a favor. Go into Minnesota. Where are we at now there?
So about 240,000 votes.
Can we go county?
Votes.
I just like making you do extra work, by the way.
That's all right.
And I appreciate you. You're such a good.
I feel like it's been about 100% of the time that these states haven't been as accurate as the big board here. So we're going to Minnesota, you said?
Yeah.
Home of the Jesse the Body?
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Former governor. So I got 62% reporting here in Minnesota. Still large swaths of red here. I'm assuming this is all red country here, but I don't really know.
That seems like a safe bet.
Obviously, we don't know how much of Minneapolis and St. Paul's reporting is in because, again, they're just generic reportings in these 62%. So
yeah, this is dumb. Although, same thing. I think that if Ilhan Omar wins re-election here, that's not statewide, though. That's just for her district. That's harder to say.
So back to the big board here, and then I'll check on some local elections. All right, so they've given something to Trump here because he's at 117. Oh, they said to give him Idaho.
He's got Idaho.
All right, let's double check on our local officials here and see what we got going on. So we got a 5.5 million votes so far for president. I don't know. Before you look, do you have any idea of what you thought the New York tally was going to be between Biden and Trump, like percentage-wise?
For all of New York?
Yeah. Like how much you think Biden was going to win by?
65-35.
56-41 right now.
That's closer than I would have guessed.
Yeah. 453 districts reporting out of 531 in the congressional district, the 21st congressional district. Elise Stefanik seems to be holding on to her seat here.
I think the proper term is
whip-ass is what I said. You yelled at me.
Holy goodness.
Claudia Tenney has opened up an 11-point lead, a 30,000.
That's the one you said whoop-ass on, isn't it?
No, it's Stefanik.
My bad.
So Tenney is holding strong here with 334 out of 565 votes. Again, we'll wait to see what comes out of Oneida or out of Utica area here. Catco, it's over.
Jeez.
681 out of 681 districts reporting. John Catco, 57.18%. Dana Balter, the visiting college professor, 36.96%.
You just couldn't help yourself, could you?
One more time.
Does she run again in 2 years?
No, 155,000 votes to 100,000 votes, 55,000 vote difference. Pretty impressive win by John Katko. Not surprising to me anyway. I know some people thought the Belter had a chance. I never did. So, yeah, we still got Angie Renna. Looks like she has,
declaring victory. And listen, give Angie Renna credit. She beat him much more soundly than Bob Antonacci did.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at the voter turnout to see if it was any different there. 123,000 total votes here in the district. 3,600 blank. Still crazy on that, but
it's still funny.
Back to, oh my God, could this be any closer? So Sam Rogers and Rachel May with 241 out of 253 districts reporting. Sam Rogers, 46,568 votes. Rachel May, 46,549 votes. That is a difference of 19 votes, folks.
That's incredible.
19 votes out of 98,000.
That's incredible.
We still have 12 more districts reporting here, so who knows where they're going to come from. I don't really know, again, where those unreported numbers are coming from, but we still have 12 to 53rd State Senate. Again, we'll go back to Mark Fineski, seemingly pulled the upset on Al Sturpey, depending on write-in ballots or absentee ballot. Jackson and Magnarelli beat Ed Weber pretty handily, both of those races. But we have some interesting race. Like I said, that Rachel May race and Sam Rogers race is super close. Probably almost impossible to determine at this point. The Tenney race is another one that I'm not surprised at the result. And there's still plenty of districts left to change that and swing that. But if that holds by that big a number, that's something I would not have predicted.
Nope. I thought it was going to be much closer than that.
And I could have predicted the Katko,
I thought Katko would win by 5 to 10.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a no-brainer. I didn't know that he was going to win by 20 points.
Yeah, I didn't see 20 coming.
But again,
I mean, listen, every now and then you have those like the people have spoken moments.
Sure, right. I mean, she's run her course, right? So we're over Dana Balter now.
Or were we ever under Dana Balter?
I mean, ooh.
We should probably stop this conversation right now before we do something bad.
I stopped. All right, so I don't know. Maybe I should call Mr. Rogers up and see if he wants to go out right now. He's probably not. He's probably free. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like he's probably just hanging out, reading a book, not stressed or anything.
No. Man, 19 votes. I don't even know how I would do it. I would be, again, distraught. All right. Nothing has changed. Presidential board here. We are expecting Wisconsin and Michigan and Ohio and North Carolina and Georgia and Florida and Texas to all call tonight, though, right? We're not none of those states that we're worried about.
This was supposed to be a blue wall. That was supposed to come back this year. It didn't.
Yeah, no.
Maybe it will. I don't know. So Pennsylvania's not going to call tonight. I don't think Ohio is going to call tonight. I don't know about Michigan or Wisconsin. And I guess part of me wonders, why are you not counting still?
They are.
But if they're not going to release any more.
I mean the absentees? Yeah, that
right. If they're not counting any more mail-in ballots, why?
Well, because they wanted to make sure that they're not going to declare a winner tonight so they can loot.
Out of the two of us, one of us has to drive through the city to get home, and one of us does not.
I live in the city.
Can I put it in air quotes?
Okay.
Okay. One of us lives in the city. One of us does not.
We got Iowa here. It looks like Trump is moving a little bit more out in front of Iowa here for those 6 votes. It was not, he's got a 40,000 vote lead now almost. 81% reporting, so that is moving the way we kind of thought it was going to. Let's double check Arizona. I know it got called here.
Yeah.
Still haven't. The Jimmy has been 73% since whenever they first reported. So this is kind of falling so far the way I had thought, other than I thought Arizona and Minnesota were going to be for the president.
Yeah.
And I thought Maine was going to fall for the president, which hasn't happened yet.
What is going on in Maine?
Well, they only have two. They only have 2 electors, and they do the ranked choice voting, so it could just be 1 and 1.
Got it.
Either way, it's either 2-0 or 1-1. So I mean, there's only 2
Super
electors.
exciting.
There's only 2 electors.
So Maine is the soccer of American politics, is what you're saying.
I don't know. I'm interested in their ranked choice voting decision.
I like ranked choice voting, but I'm not interested in discussing it too.
No, not today. Again, I think most of these, like I said, I think we're just waiting on a handful of states. I think it's all going to be about, like I said, do we figure it out if all these fall, right? He's up by, Trump's up by more than
If Trump, in my opinion, and I've got to double check my math, if this holds, everything else is irrelevant.
Right. So like just give Biden the 10 from Minnesota and the 11 from Arizona.
Yep.
So there's 21. So now he's at 230. I assume he's
2.
And Nevada just went to Republican on the first report here out of 1% reporting.
I mean, that's just a matter of which district came in.
So if he's at 230, Biden, this is 209 plus Arizona plus Minnesota gives him to 230.
Sure.
Let's give him both Maine. So now he's at 232. Let's give him Hawaii. He's at 236.
Yep.
What else?
Minnesota.
Oh, I gave him that.
You did already give him that.
That's it. 236.
And he needs 270, right?
Right. So even if he flips Pennsylvania, he's at 256.
He needs 2 of the big 4. So this whole it's all going to come down.
It's not even he can lose Pennsylvania. He can win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and still he'll lose. He needs Michigan. Michigan has 16 electors, or Ohio.
Ohio has 18.
But Michigan only has, or Minnesota only has, or Wisconsin only has 10.
Yeah, Wisconsin's got 10.
So Biden could conceivably win Wisconsin and win Pennsylvania. If everything else holds true here, Trump's still the president.
He still loses, yes.
So
Wisconsin's not a big deal for him.
It's just gravy.
Right. It's got to be, you want one of Pennsylvania, Ohio, or Michigan. Or you want 2 of those,
right,
not
especially if Nevada is going to go red, which, I think it could. I'm not saying it will. It's only 6, I think only 6 electors there, but that's just another, that means he can get away with winning Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and still.
It's interesting. And it's funny the way this map looks every 4 years when we stare at it.
Yeah. It's interesting that there's just, the coastal parts of the country that mirror each other in a lot of way, but are, 3,000 miles apart. And then the 3,000 miles in between there are nothing like them.
I did have a nice MSNBC contributor, Chris Hayes, on Twitter. He's got a show on MSNBC. I've never seen his show, admittedly, but I follow him on Twitter.
He's a Russian gator, but go ahead.
I'm aware. He referred to it as shocking to see the education gap in this country poured out in the polls or something to that effect. And all I could think was, God, you're a douche. Yeah, oh my God. The arrogance that it takes to say something like that is mind-blowing.
And the thing is that, but they believe it, right? So it's not even that they're just like saying it in jest or trying to be mean or whatever. Like they actually just think that's true.
They think like, oh, if only people were as smart as I am, they would finally see why they're so wrong.
Yeah.
Like the sheer arrogance of that statement is mind-boggling. The people I follow on Twitter are like, I'm sure you have the same thing. It's an odd collection of people that I follow on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. No, I purposely make it that.
So they're not, because the mail-in might swing it. Georgia also still competitive. Boy, this feels like reaching.
I mean, Georgia is close, or North Carolina is close here. I mean, so I'm pulled up North Carolina. 2,730,890 votes for Trump. That's 50.1%. 2,655,149 votes for Biden. That's 48.7%. That is with 94% expected vote in.
Has Biden actually taken the lead in Virginia yet?
Let's check. We're at 64% reporting. Trump still holds a Biden one state, 50.2% to 48.2%. So he holds looks like about a 60,000 vote lead on a state that has already been called for Biden. For whatever reason. Again, we're still confused about that whole thing.
I'm looking it up now.
We're still not worried about Texas, right? No, 78%. Nope, there's got 600,000 votes there. Florida, 98%. Georgia, 75%. Looks too big to outcome there. Arizona still hasn't updated anything from 73%. Nevada still at 1%. I mean, most of these states, I mean, it's going to take a huge swing to change some of these states around, which doesn't look good for Joe Biden. I mean, unless they're just going to, hold the absentee ballots and check them all and make sure that they're all marked Democrat before they count them.
Now, wait a second.
I said less, That's
what's going to happen.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what else. I mean,
no, I think
I'm way more interested in
the
Sam Rogers, Rachel May race right now. Let's give it a little refresh over here and see if the long snapper can pull it out.
My dude.
Let's get a little refresh here.
What do we got going on with judges? Let's take a look at that when we get a minute.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that yet. Let's do it. All right, I have no update for the Rachel May Sam Rogers race here, so we want to look at you want to look at city court judges or the county or the county.
Let's start with city court judges.
Okay, let's go. Are they not listed here?
I guess we're going with Supreme Court judges.
Well, they have county court judges. Why are we not? Oh, there we go. Why can I not look at city court judge races? That seems weird. I wonder if they're listed on the county website. Let's go back here. Try to find these judges. Are you looking up anything for the judges or no?
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
All right, so let's go to the Onondaga County Board of Elections. I believe they have election results here as available. Here they are. All right, 2020 general, yes.
This just shouldn't be this hard to find.
We're preparing the results casts. I'll get them here in a second. Like I said, they may just not have the all the city and county races at the New York website, which is probably smart on their part. All right, so look at the New York race.
Wow. I think that's the closest it's ever been.
Yeah, I don't know how. Again, I didn't check the voter totals. I think there might have been 192,000 in the last one, but still very, very close.
How many blank? Right. Sorry, I'm done.
City Court Judge with, let's see, 100% reporting. We have our two winners, Shadia Tadros and Felicia Pitts-Davis.
All right.
They both received about 35% of the vote, 136, 134. So we have the two city court judges. And what about the county judges? Just double checking some of these. All right, so let's go to county judge. Do you see it anywhere? Oh, there, family court judge. Here we are.
Family court judge.
Full reporting. We have Julie Serio and Sal Pavone. Very close race here. Very, very close.
Wow.
We have a 31%, a 22%, a 20, and a 26. So Julie Serio was 31%, and Sal Pavone at 26% are the two winners. They will be the family court judges. Anything else in local elections that you want me to check on here, Mr. Hussong?
Did you just call it local erections?
Sure. Is that fun?
Probably more fun than...
Anything you want to know the proposition in Camillus?
No.
Let's find out.
Well, thank God.
Yes, one.
Good news.
Yes is the winner.
I don't even know what the proposition was.
You're in Camillus.
I live in Camillus. Sorry.
Still nothing here.
It was something to do with volunteer firefighters.
You're going to get the ire of the firefighters. We got an extra % here in Arizona, but nothing has really changed. So 200,000 dead in Arizona.
That's good.
Let's check Minnesota again. Minnesota, 69%, still 54 to 43% in favor of Biden. Wisconsin, Trump still favored 52 to 47%. Michigan, Trump still up 54 to 43%. Ohio, 53 to 45%. Pennsylvania still keeps growing. He's up to 15 points here. He's got a 500,000 vote lead on Biden in Pennsylvania. I mean, I don't want to call it over here, but I mean,
I don't. Yeah,
North Carolina is still stuck at 94%, still too close to call, separated by about 80,000 votes, and still in favor of Trump. Georgia is Trump big. Florida is Trump. Texas, 78%, that's Trump. They've taken Nevada off the board here for whatever reason. Apparently that 1% retracted their reporting. But what do you see here? I don't see a way for Biden to win.
So the only way is that the Pennsylvania absentee ballot is overwhelmingly Joe Biden, and not like normal poll numbers of early voting. I mean, overwhelmingly goes to Biden. And it's got to happen in one other state. It's got to happen in Michigan.
I don't think it's going to happen in Pennsylvania. If it doesn't happen in Pennsylvania, he needs 3 states.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. It could happen. Apparently Georgia is still available and Florida's too early to call. I can't imagine Florida going to Biden giving the Latino vote that he got, that Trump got. I can't see how Florida could lose.
No.
And I don't see how Texas could be lost, and I haven't the entire time. I mean, the district where Beto O'Rourke was from, or that went overwhelmingly to Beto O'Rourke against Ted Cruz 2 years ago, came back. Not only did Biden had like 1/10 of the advantage that Beto O'Rourke had in the same area 2 years ago. Like, these are the indicators that make you go, okay, these votes got to come from somewhere. Where are they coming from? And I get early voting, mail-in voting, and everything else was expected to be higher on the Democrat and Joe Biden side than on the Trump Republican side. However, it wasn't unanimous. It wasn't 100-0. Like, the Republicans got their own, God, it's late, efforts, get out the vote, motivation, whatever. to get people out early voting. Like, they got a pretty good number, I would guess.
I got an update on voter turnout. 6.1 million, almost 6.2 million votes in New York, which is I feel like the governor's. I think I told you it was 5.7 million in 18. Smoked a lot of stuff between 2 years.
Cigars.
But 6.1, almost 6.2 million votes. We're at 55% for Biden, 43% for Trump. I mean, I thought Trump was going to outperform what he did in 2016 in New York and California. I think that's probably going to be true here.
I think so. Well, I think New York in particular, upstate, you've had two things happen that I think do have an effect. Number one is you've had a lot of New York City people not here right now. So they had to get out. Because there's any type of process involved whatsoever, they're not all going to get one.
I almost want to call Tenny. It's over. I mean, she's up 28,000 votes, 460 Filsum, but
still
it's
100 districts.
It's getting down to the nitty gritty here for the incumbent Brindisi.
I'd say Brindisi needs a miracle. I'd say Balter is done.
Well, that means we're going to have at least these two Republican congressmen here representing New York.
Yeah.
One of them will probably be removed when we lose congressional seats with our populace or after the census.
Yeah. I think Angie Wren is a comfortable
So Rachel
victor.
May now has taken a slight lead back over Sam Rogers. We have 46,794 votes for Rachel May, 46,658 votes for Sam Rogers. That is a difference of 150-ish.
Yeah.
Again, 241 out of 253 reportings. That's 98,000 votes. There is, it is way, way too close to decide there. Again, we're still got Vanesky. Looks like he beat Stirp, and Hunter and Magnarelli are there. So we're still kind of waiting on really the only one local race, Sam Rogers and Rachel May. I feel comfortable with all the rest of them calling them. Tenny probably the most or the least confident, but she's still up, 11 points with majority of those districts reporting. So there would have to be a big, big turn from Brindisi to kind of pull off the comeback here.
So I think the Brindisi and Tenny race is the only one that feasibly could change from the results we're seeing, but it's not likely.
No.
It's the only one where it's possible. The rest of these are over, unless
I think they're over.
You're talking act of God for those ones to change. The Brindisi one is just he got a ridiculously strong turnout in some other areas in the mail-in vote.
And some of those are close, like, again, the Vanesky Stirp race is very close, and so there could be an absentee collection that may swing that a little bit. It was very, very close. But it seems as though that's over too. So
CNBC is now reporting that President Trump is projected to win Ohio.
So that was one you said earlier they weren't going to call tonight, or is that just too close to call?
So.
I
That's
think
CNBC though,
right? And so that's one of the bigger electoral ones, and that's
18,
right? So that basically means he'd have to win 3.
He needs Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
And he's not even close in Pennsylvania either, which is crazy.
They're saying there's enough absentee ballots to do it.
And I'm not dismissing that, but there's only 50% reporting, and he's got a 500,000 vote lead. So again, if a lot of those unreported districts are Philly and Pittsburgh, then I could see why they're reluctant to do that. But everything else makes it seem like this thing is steamrolling towards a Trump win in Pennsylvania, at least. I don't know where else where he could get it. Like, it looks like, Texas is 78%. I don't think he can get there. Again, have you ever seen anything on Florida being called? Or do you think they're...
No, I haven't seen it yet.
he's still got a 400,000 vote lead there with 98% reporting. I can't imagine. You said Georgia was too close to call?
Allegedly.
They're over 300,000 votes difference there at 77% reporting. North Kakalaki, still Trump has winning. They're at 94%, 2.7 million versus 2.6 million for Biden there in North Kakalaki. Let's go to your boy Virginia.
My boy.
Your boy Virginia. Trump's still leading the Biden one state. It is obviously much closer than what.
So it's got to be that there was just they
just knew that the districts were going to be Biden districts. So
I can't come up with any other reason that you would do that. So I'm going to go with that. That's it.
Minnesota's up to 70%. I don't think that's going to matter. I think this is over.
Listen, if Georgia and Florida, Florida's not in play, but if Georgia is somehow still in play, which I don't know how it is, but okay, fine, then there's still a chance. Because Georgia's got 16 electoral votes.
They're not in play. They're not. They're 98% reporting, I think. Oh, 78% reporting, sorry. But he's got a 300,000 vote lead. I mean, there would have to be a lot of votes coming in from Atlanta or Athens.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Listen, I don't think it's likely for Joe Biden at this point. It doesn't. You're talking about a turnaround of all of the trends that are currently in place. You're talking about a momentum shift and a momentum swing that is unreal. That I shouldn't say unreal. That would be.
It would be unexpected. It would be very, very newsworthy. I can tell you that.
Right. Yeah. It's just there's too many things that are trending. And if you look at the races around the country, the reason I don't think he wins Michigan, quite simply, I knew nothing else about the state. If you told me an incumbent Democrat in Michigan is getting spanked by a young Republican in the state, I'm going to tell you that the incumbent Republican president is going to win. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So really, we're all just waiting on the Rogers-May race, which, just because May has been on that aging committee and we suffered so much in the nursing homes. I hope there's a switch there, to be honest with you.
Okay, now it's been announced.
Still waiting on the political map here, but my friends who told me that he was going to win, Biden was going to win Texas and Pennsylvania and waltz to the victory is not going to happen, apparently.
U.S. Senate race in Iowa.
I'm hope the Senate race.
Joni Ernst is going to beat Teresa Greenfield. I'm sorry.
Do better studying, Ma.
What's that?
I said get better studying at those names. All right, so
reading things on the fly here.
So which of the state senates you want me to pull up here? So obviously you can see all the ones they've already called are the solid ones.
Montana.
They've called this. This is leaning.
That's way too close to call.
Yeah, it's still way low. 33% reported.
50-50.
Yeah, 50-50.
Right. North Carolina.
Right, we have a lead red, sorry. Tillis is got about 100,000 vote lead with 93% vote in. Tillis over Cunningham, 48.7 to 47%.
Okay.
So that's a lean red. Looks like they haven't called Georgia yet, but that looks like it's over.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's people on Twitter claiming that it's not, but same thing.
I'm talking about Georgia Senate race here specifically.
Oh. Yeah, Georgia Senate race I think is
They haven't called it yet, but
there's a special election in the Georgia Senate too, though, that I think is going to end up in a runoff because there's just too many people running.
But so we're trying to figure out who holds control of the Senate, right? So Senate, they're at 45 right now. It looks like they're going to get Georgia. That's 46. You said it looks like Collins is going to hold on in Maine. Yeah,
it does.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 46, 47. We think that North Carolina, that's too close to call, so let's not give that. So 47.
Michigan's going to the Republican.
Yeah, Michigan's going to Republican. So that's 1, 2, 3.
Alabama's going to the Republican.
Already given to him.
Arizona's flipping to the Democrats.
Iowa looks like it's going to go Republican. So you've got
Iowa's going Republican.
1, 2, 3, 4 for sure, adding on to the 45. So that's at 49. Yeah, that's giving him Georgia, Maine, Iowa, and Michigan.
And Alabama.
Alabama's already given to him.
Okay. So then, and then Texas.
And Texas is already given to him as well.
Okay.
So that puts him at 49 with North Carolina, and they're leading that.
Mm-hmm.
So they could win that one. That would make them 50.
And we don't know about Montana.
We have Montana, Arizona, and Minnesota.
I thought Arizona went Democrat, no?
They haven't called it yet, that's all.
I think Mark Kelly wins.
Yeah, it looks like he's. So we have 49 Republican senators, not counting North Carolina, and they're winning that seat, and that is just too close for us to call here. So that gives the Democrats, if they take Arizona, that's 45. If they take, I don't want to give them, I'm going to leave New Mexico open too. It looks like they're winning New Mexico, but it's still close enough with enough districts left to report that I think it could be 50-50. I mean, we'll see what happens in Montana. Still too close to call, only 33%, and that very close. So, but if Montana stays red or flips red, stays red, I guess, and North Carolina holds on, then they maintain their 51-49, no matter what. So it seems as though they're at least going to be at 50, 49 for sure, and then 50 if North Carolina goes, 51 if Montana goes, seemingly in the Senate there. The House was going to stay. Let's check here.
The House is going to stay with the Democrats.
On the big board here. Oh, this is too hard for me to comprehend. It's like a big Connect 4 game that I'm losing. Yeah, it's hard to know. There's still a lot of undetermined House seats up, so it's going to be too hard to tell.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to the presidential big board. I'm not sure we want to keep everybody here till the very end here.
No, I don't think we're going to have to. I don't think we can make it to the very end because otherwise I'm spending the night here.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. My dogs will hate you.
See, you get me.
All right. So
I've had literally across the last 2 hours, every 20 minutes, a different news organization breaking news that Joe Biden won Virginia.
Well, he's still losing Virginia according to the big board.
Joe Biden wins Hawaii.
Yep, it's on there.
To the shock of no one.
Interesting that they're just not flipping Texas or Florida or Georgia just because they don't want to add the number to the total. Check.
Virginia, apparently Fairfax County is the problem in Virginia. They hold on to their votes forever, and then that apparently goes to Joe Biden.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of what we were talking about the whole time, was that there's got to be a district out there that's very, very heavy Biden that they just know is waiting in the wings. Well, what do you think? I think the president looks like he's in position to hold his office another 4 years. It would take a large chunk of swings in multiple states, and I don't think there's enough states for him to do it in. I think that the president has control of the only way that it doesn't happen is if an unforeseen number of absentee ballots comes in extremely one-sided.
I mean, I think you need almost unanimous absentee ballots in the right areas. With Ohio going, so. That hurts. That, I mean, as I'm doing the math, trying to figure out how this could go, without Ohio, it's a tough road to victory.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it.
I can't say it's impossible. I mean, if you take Wisconsin, and I'm assuming he's not going to win Michigan based on the results of the Senate race,
right?
And the data that we have so far.
I think that's fair, right? No, I think that's
so. I can't see him winning Michigan. He didn't win Ohio. He's not winning Pennsylvania right now, and it's not as close as it should be if the absentee ballots were going to make a big difference. And now, I mean, listen. The other thing here's what's going to happen. Pennsylvania has always been rife with allegations of voter fraud, of election interference and everything else. Wait until you see what comes out in the next week. Wait till you see the accusations that are leveled. Wait till you see all of the dirt that comes through, because both sides are going to be slinging mud at the other, and it's going to be unreal. It's going to be too bad. However, it's also a district that has some weird things happen in the state, like the time that not one person in the entire county where Philadelphia is located voted for the Republican candidate. Not even on accident.
Just real quick and double checking before we get out of here, the 26th congressional race, Claudia Tenney still holding a double-digit lead. 464 out of 565 districts reporting.
Yep. That's close to over.
Yeah, she's got a 28,000 vote lead with, I don't know how many votes are left out there, but actually, oh, look, they give actions of registered voters out here. Stefanik still wiping the floor with Cobb.
I mean, that's a beatdown.
Yeah. For somebody who it seemed like that race was going to be tight,
it wasn't.
So much.
Well, you know, the House PAC or whatever it was, the Flip the House Blue PAC, I mean, for them to say that they're targeting that race and John Kakko's race, that's a stunning defeat.
Yeah.
Of how bad, not that you lost. It was always a long shot. That you got beat that
waxed.
badly both times. Waxed is the word. It wasn't, you may as well have not, set your money on fire next time.
Yeah.
Because it did nothing. I mean, that's just a.
I said in Kakko, they won.
Points.
Yeah, no. Like I said, I'm not surprised. Again, not surprised that the seat has been primarily Republican, but I'm surprised that she won by as much as she did. Angie Renna, this is.
Yeah.
Again, not surprised that she won outright just because of the history of the seat, but
and the makeup of the population.
Yeah,
it tends
right.
to lean more conservative.
Right, and like I said, it's just interesting that the person who I thought had the name recognition didn't resonate.
By the way, I wanted to take a side note to the politicians. The number of commercials over the last 2 weeks, especially the last 3 days, it was all for nothing. You put me through that to have double-digit margin of victories or losses.
I mean, how many times are you going to see John Kakko and Dana Balter's face on your TV?
As many as I've seen Stefanik.
I'm guessing you're going to see Balter's. That was the last time you're ever see Dana Balter's face on TV.
Somehow, I'll sleep at night.
The presidential here one more time.
All right.
And then let's send Ben Hussong home.
Let's end this show of an evening.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, it's almost after midnight.
Almost after.
I said it. No, I said, oh, it's after midnight. I didn't mean almost, but.
Oh, yeah, we're heading for a nightmare scenario.
I'd say they're giving Ohio here finally on the big board. Let's check Pennsylvania one last time here. 90% reporting in Pennsylvania. Oh, no, that's Maryland, sorry. 59% reporting. He's up 16 points. I mean, there would have to be a lot of Philadelphia and Pittsburgh voters left to make up that difference.
Is Georgia somehow in play?
No. The only reason why I feel like it was in play is because it only was like 77% reporting or something. 82%, 3 to 45. It doesn't look close. Again, there would have to be a big voting turnout from some of these, Athens and Atlanta areas to really swing that number. That's, just too many votes. Through over 300,000 votes.
That's a big number to overcome.
Yeah, I think it's over there. I think it's over in Florida. I think it's over in Georgia. I think it's over in Texas. I think North Carolina is the one real true swing state left. So let's say Biden wins this one. Here's 15.
That's a big one.
So and let's give him Arizona, which is 11.
So there's 26.
And Maine is 2.
28. What does he need?
270. So if he gets 28, that's what, 251. He's going to be 19 short. That would be Pennsylvania.
I don't
they
know
finally
how
gave
you
him
do
Minnesota
it without taking. I don't know that he's going to win North Carolina. I'd be kind of surprised.
No. I'm just saying if that's one of the states that still lean red that is close enough to. I'm like, okay, I could see it flipping. I guess.
I gotcha. I think it's safe. Montana.
But it's 94%. I mean, it's coming down to the bitter end there.
Right. 9 out of 10 votes are counted.
Trump's still holding on to Biden's state.
There is some contention from Donald Trump's camp about them declaring Arizona, Fox News declaring Arizona for Joe Biden already.
I mean, it's picked up. It's gotten closer here.
Still 200,000 votes.
Yeah, there's still a lot of. I mean, we'll see.
I guess if you're going to call that one, but not call Florida, Georgia, and just call Ohio right now, then I get
crazy.
the point. But what are you going to do?
All right.
I think that's it for the evening.
I don't really have anything else to say. I think this is somewhat anticlimactic, actually, after all this. But
exactly what we predicted it would be.
I feel like it's the president's to lose. I don't see how there's enough places left for him to flip to get to 270. So I think he's going to fall short.
By you mean?
I think Biden's going to fall short, and I think that we're going to get another 4 years of Donald Trump.
I think that you are likely correct. I shouldn't say that. I think that's what the odds say right now, based on what I'm looking at of you. The only is the favorite to win right now is you're hoping that the absentee ballots are all overwhelmingly Joe Biden, which I know they are, based on the polling, suspected of being for Joe Biden. But by that logic, so was Texas, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Arizona. So, some of them worked out, but I wouldn't take that to the bank. No. But thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yes, I appreciate your longevity. We still have viewers to the very end here, so that's fun. And we will be back here on Monday to break down this all. Hopefully we'll actually have a winner and results to break down, and maybe we'll get a candidate on to talk about their victory or something.
That sounds like a great plan. And in the meantime,
maybe we'll get the president on. Should I ask him?
Let's shoot him out a tweet.
I don't follow him on Twitter. So.
I actually don't either.
All right. Well, we'll figure that out. We'll get somebody on next week to try to talk about the election results and see if we learned anything from between now and then. So
I love it.
On that note, thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. Kind of our first experimental live stream.